Good evening. Welcome back. I probably said it every time, don't I? I'm so predictable. Welcome back to 1 gigahertz power. Anyone notice that the desktop background there? I did a little modification. We'll see shortly. But how's everyone doing tonight? Welcome to the future. That is the post-gigahertz world. Nico, Pixel, Bruce, Doppler, Revenant. And I'm sorry, I forgot how to pronounce your name, but welcome anyway. So, I'm sure everyone's excited to see the unleashed raw power of 1 gigahertz. So it's a little funny actually how easy this was to upgrade it. I'm not sure if evening Brian. Yes, there, welcome. Good evening Bluebeard. Yeah, everyone's excited for gigahertz power. It's funny because this machine, of course, has been 700 megahertz for forever. I mean, you guys have watched it, me stream with it for a long time now. And the Voodoo 5 has always been a little held back by it, and that was understandable. It was kind of appeared accurate, and I think a very realistic setup that people might have had back in the day. But 1 gigahertz is just cooler, isn't it? I mean, it's 1 gigahertz. I remember when those processors started coming out, it was like, oh wow, we're at 1,000 megahertz. That's insane. So finding the CPU for this one, since this uses a slot get adapter, finding the CPU that is 100 FSB and not 133, the 1 gigahertz 133 FSB is pretty common, and that one I got for just a few bucks. However, finding the 1 gigahertz that's FSB of 100 was a little trickier. So this is of course a slot get adapter in the slot 1, so that's how that's laid out, right? And for those that may not remember, we're playing as usual here on this this glorious piece of beige chunk of computing. It used to be a faxing, or it was a voicemail server for many years until someone at work was like, "Hey, do you want this machine?" I'm like, "Absolutely." And that was, of course, my first YouTube video, and I'm still streaming with this machine all the time. But yeah, it's a slot kit, Evening Glue. It's just a standard slot kit adapter or whatever, and it works great. You set it even to auto, and then in the BIOS settings, there's actually an option to configure this to be using the multiplier of 10 with 100 FSB, or you have 1 gigahertz, and it's just kind of works. Yeah, I did a little modification here in the background to emphasize the tremendousness of having 1 gigahertz available here. And there are faster ones, obviously. I know the 1.4 Twaddleton or whatever is, how we pronounce that, is like the top dog when it comes to P3s, but I don't know, 1 gigahertz and Voodoo 5 has a nice ring to it. And in case there was any question or concern here, we can run CPU Z as well. And I'll even show that we are seeing, I guess we'll find out, we are seeing the 1 gigahertz. So, and it's funny because when I did the upgrade first, I see here we have a Pentium III E1000 megahertz at 10 multiplier with a bus speed of 100, well, 3 in this case. So we're at 131 megahertz, like overclock, I guess. I think we just had a turbo on her. It's probably not that accurate, but anyway, this is what it's reading, and it's sitting on a slot get adapter and works fine. I can't say I've stress tested this machine since I upgraded it, but it has been running just fine. Like nothing really happened, and it's just, technically you're just increasing the multiplier. And you're kind of right, Pixel. It wasn't super expensive. I think I paid like 30 for this one, maybe, or less. I saw it pop up. It's pretty rare to see the 100 FSB 1 gigahertz show up because there's just not that many of them around. And it was kind of like I think a pretty late chip for the 100 FSB because everything had already gone to 133 by then. So that was kind of like a cross or holdover thing. And I don't know that you're going to see a huge performance difference between the 133 and the 100 in gaming. I'm sure there's some measurable difference, but I can't imagine the layman playing is like, oh, I see there's 1 more FPS or whatever. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like this is more than enough. And also, again, realistic for what it would have been, a 2000 era machine. Yeah, that's the thing. You're right, Revenant. It's like the 1.4 is awesome by itself, but it's not worth the price. The same way a Voodoo 5 is cool and awesome, but it's not worth the asking price. I just don't feel it is. Unless it's like, yeah, it's fun to have, but there are plenty of cards that are stronger or better than something like that when you look at the price. So in this case here, finding this processor cheap was key, because this one goes for a lot more often. And I'm pretty sure I paid around 25, 30 bucks or something like that. And then it's like, I can go with that, but not the 100 plus, just not worth it. So, because you can get an 850 or 800 or even 900 pretty easily for the 100 FSB. So That's the thing. Yeah, you're right, developers. It's hard to keep track of all that stuff and seeing which ones are, which ones will work with your motherboard. And I bought more than one processor because I did buy the 133 processor, the 133 FSB version of this 1 gig, and didn't really think about it until I got it, and then like, oh yeah, but it was also like, $10 or something, because there were so many of those. And there's many machines that can use that, because you have the socket 370 motherboards later on, and those were perfectly fine. But in this case here, having it for this purpose on this machine with the slot gate adapter, which does not support 133, nor does this 440BX chipset-based motherboard I have in this machine, because this is a Pentium II class motherboard that just happens to be able to go this far, and it's been rock solid the entire time. And it is like it did feel like the future. I remember as well when those magazines came out, and I thought it was awesome, which is why I tried to duplicate that. See if my voice still works there, but that with the star here and the 1 gigahertz and all that stuff, the magazines I remember were doing that, and it just felt so ridiculous that I just had to have that in my thumbnail. But let's chat about this while we run some benchmarks. Take a look, because it actually did uncork this quite a bit. And we actually got quite of a boost in performance from using the 1 gigahertz, because it kind of like fully uncorks the Voodoo 5. It gives it more breathing room, because the Voodoo 5 is not maxed out, this processor even. But this, I feel, is extremely extremely period accurate, right? Actually, maybe double check that. We may have VSync on here now, the cardinal sin of benchmarking, right? Let's double check in the NVIDIA, or the NVIDIA. Whew. Sorry, I said that. Oh, we don't have 3dfx tools installed. Stand by. I dropped the Voodoo 5 back in pretty recently, and I probably forgot to install 3dfx tools. We'll need that for sure. I think I have the same one under, let's see. I've installed too many video cards on this machine now. I can't even get track of everything. Voodoo 5 driver. I think it's the same one. Yeah, let's see. There's 3dfx tools. Okay. That's right. It doesn't work on this one. Let me try. I think it's the same one in here. Terrific. I gotta remember what I did now, because I think there was one that doesn't work here. There it is. I think this is the one we need. Nope, they just all kind of fire up and then run. Let's take a look at my NAS here now. We will need the settings or the 3dfx tools for this, otherwise we're not going to get very far, because we can't configure anything. It's a little interesting it doesn't install that by default. It might be the overclock one. It's the beta driver. Yeah. I thought I already had done that. That's true. All right, we'll do that then. We'll go into the Voodoo 5. That's the beta driver. I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use the, let's see, where did it go? E5 driver. There we go. There we go. Oh, you have to run this. That's right. You can't run the MSI. You have to run the I and I setup. There we go. First try. It's funny because this is the machine I dropped in the Savage 4 in, and that's what you saw the video. I ran it on this one, right? And that's kind of the part of that. So fine, we'll reboot. Stand by, rebooting. Go mode and get us done. That's it's a late one there now. Or really. So yeah, it's super early in the morning, I should say. Sorry, I'm doing very poor scaling here now, but I don't care. We're not going to do DOS stuff here right now, so we'll just let it rescale as needed. As it gets in here, it's horrible, but who cares? A rollback for, as an interesting idea Doppler. I don't know if anyone's done that on real hardware, because you can, of course, do virtualization and do kind of like that and use a snapshot. The best thing I can think of is probably if you were to take a backup of the machine. If you have a easy to remove solution, right, you could just basically take the whatever storage solution you have out and clone the drive. That's probably the best way to do it today, if you were to mess with it, versus having like an actual like rollback or something. Exactly. It's a true benchmarking stream. Let's see if we have some settings here now. There we go. Advanced features. Let's see. We want to have vertical sync. Disable. There we go. Direct 3D. That's right. That's under anti-aliasing now, isn't it? I think, correct me here now, maybe you can pipe in Pixel. I'm pretty sure now we have it disabled, although that in Direct 3D, can you disable it? Do you have to install the overclock settings to do that? Or is it always disabled in Direct 3D? That's right. There we go. Yep, you're right. So this is exactly why I had this here before. There's the overclock. Enable overclocking. Unlimited power. Now, oh, look at all the settings here now. Woo! Overclock. Direct 3D, VSync disable. There we go. All right, let's try that again now. It's just funny. It's something that you can now do pretty easily in drivers. It wasn't always a guarantee back then. It's like, well, who's going to care? You're just running on CRT, right? Tearing wasn't nearly as bad as it is on the flat panel, but... okay, let's do the benchmark again now and see what we get without the 75 hertz. Yeah, there we go. That's a little bit better when the uncorking. That's a lot better, actually, but... So we'll get an even higher score now than what I benchmarked. Of course, I should have written it down, but we'll do it for just the sake of posterity of seeing what our number is going to be now. And I feel like I'm like feeding the wolves here now by just throwing out a whole bunch of benchmarking numbers and everything. But that's what people are here for, right? Gigahertz and Voodoo 5. It's like a round combination. I'm very happy with this machine now. I don't see myself doing more upgrades to it, because it's very period accurate and it's a fantastic, you know, glide / voodoo machine, right? It's like, yeah, this will be faster with another competitor card or something like that, but it just feels right having a Voodoo 5, and I like using it, you know? I like using it and getting kind of like, quote-unquote, the best, for the time period, Voodoo experience, within reason. Again, a P1.4 would be, or P3 1.4 would be even better, obviously. And possibly overclocking it, slapping it into, you know, 133 motherboard and faster memory, more memory. There's options, but I like 1 gigahertz and a Voodoo 5. Just has a nice ring to it. Plus 1 gigahertz is really cool. So, exactly. And you're right, Christian. That's the thing. I do enjoy using it, and that's what I do. I stream with this. It's kind of like my go-to streaming machine, right? That I use a lot. I mean, for anything you guys have watched over the last several years, that has to do with later 3D titles from later, late 90s, early 2000s has been this machine. So I definitely use that Voodoo 5, and hopefully it, you know, survives for a long time. Yeah, that's the thing. 700 always been, you know, kind of fine, but it feels like it needed a little more oomph, and that's what we got here. So, Evening Foil, welcome. Gigantic hertz. Yes. So I did update the spec thing here. I realized at the last second, like probably at half an hour before stream started, I hadn't updated my scroller here to include 1 gigahertz, and I felt like a cardinal sin to do that. So, I never had access to Voodoo 5. I'd never even seen one in person until much, much later, because by the time the Voodoo 5 came out, I was on to other stuff, and I know that, you know, today the Voodoo 5 is a really cool card, both technically. Last hurrah from the 3D effects, and you know, it has a lot of, you know, kind of like awesome aura around it. But back in the day when it came out, I mean, I don't think I paid it much attention because it was pretty expensive for what it was, especially in Scandinavia. And you know, the GeForce cards were coming out, and there was a lot of other options that were cheaper that had, you know, equivalent or better performance. So Glide wasn't as big of a deal, it feels to me, by the time the Voodoo 5 was in market, or at market. Hey, Christian, do you remember, was it even out in Sweden? I'm trying to remember now, because I had moved on to a TNT, I think, and then TNT 2, probably. I don't remember exactly, but I had dropped 3DFX at that point completely. I was not buying Voodoo cards at all, and the only Voodoo card I actually bought back in the day, the only one I did own, was a Voodoo 1, which I still have, in my Pentium 166 machine. But I didn't have any Voodoo cards at all after that. Because again, it was just price performance, right? You looked at the cards and you could get a lot of the same or more for less money. So yeah, exactly. There was just very much to 3DFX was looking for like a rebound at that point, but there was nothing left at that point, unfortunately. So yeah, it was, and I think so too. I'm pretty sure, I don't think Suka's here now, but I'm pretty sure he had a Voodoo 5 when it came out, and that was his video card at the time, and I think that you would have had a fantastic experience with it. It's not like it was a bad card by itself, but kind of what you're hinting at there, Pixel, is that the GeForce 2 was coming out, and it took over, and of course after that there was no going back, right? 3DFX just kind of went into the ground, and NVIDIA chopped it up and bought the pieces, and that was it. What is that? I mean, it's just funny how Glide went from like being so dominant in the mid 90s on 3D acceleration, and it's kind of slowly faded out, and just bam, gone. I mean, so what? The Voodoo 1 came out in 96, and the Voodoo 5 was like in 2000, and that was like the entire range of 3D effects, and there was nothing else after that. So 5-6 years, and entire card, an entire company came out with a flagship product that was just dominant for a while and just faded and then just gone, like in just a few years. I always wonder, like, things that would have been different. Can always wonder, but you think like if some of the consoles have been powered by 3D effects. Wasn't there a discussion about having 3D effects power the Dreamcast, for example, and things like that? So yeah, exactly, yeah. Well, there you go. And that's the thing, like, would that have made a big difference at that point? Probably not. The Dreamcast was a huge success, right? That had its own challenges, but it would have at least given them a bone, right, or a lifeline. But then everything that was unique with Glide and everything got folded in. You had Rec 3D was just barreling ahead, and OpenGL was picking up speed, so proprietary APIs kind of went to the wayside pretty quickly after 2000. So, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, is there any proprietary API after 2000 besides Glide? I mean, it was still around. Was there anything that came about that was even remotely, I mean, compared to Rec 3D and OpenGL? Yeah, there you go. That's right. So there you go. There's the official score in 3D Mark 99 Max. And that is a remarkable improvement. I think that we went from, I gotta look it up now, but the CPU mark itself went from 10,000, I'm pretty sure, and the 3D Mark went from 6,500 or something. Roughly. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I should have had them. Here we are. But it is a good score. Like, this is a good performance for this machine. I like to say so anyway. So let's kick it up a notch. And I did actually just install 3D Mark 2001. And now we're pushing it a little bit here. You know, this is beyond everything that this machine has in it, right? This is newer. 99 is, of course, kind of an older benchmarking software by the time this machine was available, or these specs. But so let's do the same thing here now. Now, should we still run see, we have direct 3D. Should run 800 by 600 as well. 32-bit color, probably don't do that. That's not a strong suit. Does not support the settings. What do you think? Because 800 by 600 and 16-bit was the last one. Should we still run that, or should we do something different? Because this is the, the same settings that we had on 99. What does chat think? What should we run here? Yeah, this might be a little tough for it, so we're going to exercise it a little bit. So it's nice and cool in the basement, so it should be at least a good ambient temperature. Yeah, I mean, defaults. 32-bit color, even G-Funkster. How's that going to do for 32-bit color is not exactly a strong suit for this card, right? So this might be slightly painful. We'll see. Yeah, there we go. 18 frames per second. That's quite a difference here. 35, look at that. Woo. Yeah, it looks good, but yeah, this is not the strong suit, because even so, put it in that perspective, right? So this is the default settings here, right? And you have gone now from being a Voodoo 5 being a more than capable card, but then you get into this here now, which is the benchmark for well, benchmarking at the time, 3D Mark 2001. I remember running this over and over on my GeForce or whatever I had at the time. But this is not very nice for the Voodoo 5. It already here at this point is basically outdated. You're running at 1024 at 32-bit color. It's just not going to keep pace. And that's the thing, which is why it's important to look at these retro cards, I feel, in the scope of what they were. Like, but it's easy to forget that back in the day, we didn't care about that. It was like, this is the fastest one you look at today, right? What's the fastest card? The fastest, and all that stuff. And that's where the Voodoo 5, kind of like drops off pretty quickly. And it just was overshadowed so quickly. It's still an amazing card, but you got to put it in perspective and play maybe those late 90s games and not the early 2000s. That's not a strong suit. Because to be fair, we're in Windows XP era now, so an XP machine with a newer card would be vastly superior in pretty much all of this here, right? So, Unisolar, welcome. Maybe we'll run this again at the more favorable settings of 800 by 600 at 16-bit and see what it does. Because this is really stretching what, what this card can do, so. Yeah, it sure does. Oh, I think we just dropped like 5 people when you said that. But yeah, I figure 1 gigahertz brings all the people, but maybe they're getting bored of watching benchmarks. We'll play some games tonight too, of course, but is that a 7 or 1? 8. 7. Okay, yeah, there you go. We're not even in double digits frame rates right now. But again, this is stretching beyond what the Voodoo 5 was really designed to do. Yeah. Yep, I did. I got Windows 2000 pretty quickly as well. And, I remember this scene. This was like, I remember watching this over and over thinking it was so cool. Like, oh, it's like the Matrix. Not affiliated or not at all. It's just, again, this is beyond, that is Mads Mikkelsen. It is, we're stretching beyond what the Voodoo 5 was really designed to do here, and I'm pretty sure I was on a GeForce 2. It's weird. I have like such a weird blank spot in what I had. I'm pretty sure I had the TNT. And after that, I don't know. Like, from like 2000 and on, I don't really know what card I had, which seems weird for me to say, being so interested in all this, but I don't remember. And it's been driving me nuts because I had the same shuttle that I still have. The same shuttle system, and I must have had like I don't think a TI or 4400 Ti maybe or something. I don't know. I just don't remember. Wow, yeah. I remember reflections being just, oh, that looks so cool. And very Max Payne style. I mean, this is, yeah. Okay, yeah, there you go. I must have had something similar, because it's no way I went from a TNT all the way to the GeForce 4 Ti. I might have had a 9700 or something non-pro. I don't know why. I don't remember, but I was playing all MMOs at the time, so I didn't need top performance, right, for my Windows XP machine, which is, again, the shuttle that I still have here and that we stream with. The same machine I still have. And that's what I had at the time in the early 2000s, so. Before that, I had a Pentium III 500, which I did run Windows 2000 on for a while as well. And that's what I'm trying to remember what was in that, because that machine is still at my parents' place in Sweden. And I took whatever video card I had in there out. It was just some basic, whatever. Inisuka, welcome. We were talking earlier because you had the Voodoo 5 when it was new, right? Because that was the card you picked at the time. We're now stretching the Voodoo 5 beyond what it was designed for by running 3D Mark 2001 at 1024 by 768 at 32-bit color and really punishing it. So we're being mean to it. Yeah. Yeah, and that, you're right, Pixel. That's the thing. It's easy to forget that with the Voodoo 5. The fact that it's 2 chips running in tandem, like a Crossfire thing, right? Or SLI. The fact that it's just doing that with nothing. Because, I mean, I have not had any problems with Voodoo 5, and I'm sure there's some things that may not work or break or have problems, but I have personally never had a problem with this Voodoo 5 in anything. Any game I have played or done with it, or not that I've stress tested it like crazy, but it just seems to work, so. Yeah, that's true. That's what I wonder. So like, you know, maybe you can fill in there, Zuka, having it when it was new, because it feels like the Voodoo 5 is really cool and really awesome for the era, but then it ran out of steam. It feels really fast going into the 2000s, right? And it's like it just doesn't really keep up anymore. So, yeah, see, Blue, that's what I'm doing too. Is like, why can't I remember this? This is really weird. And where did those cards go? Like, what happened to these things? And I think probably at least one of those cards ended up in my P2 300 that I just ended up recycling because I didn't need it at the time, right? Or I gave it to someone, I don't remember. And I probably had that whatever card in there, and I went to the P3 500. But so I played like games like Homeworld and Total Annihilation and stuff like that on the P2 500 or P3 500. So I must have been like, you know, at least argue a team. Oh, there we go. 1701 3D Mark. Yeah. You're not wrong, Solar. The early 2000s was not the pinnacle of like PC gaming, because the 90s was just like freaking nirvana when it comes to like games and performance and all that stuff, right? It was just through the roof. And it was kind of like a lull for a while, at least in my experience, before, you know, we didn't see the PC gaming take off again until a decade later at least. And then it was kind of like a second renaissance and PC gaming got huge. So let's try that again. And we will change it to be a little more friendly. Does not support the display setting. Settings have been downgraded. Oh, because I can't do D3 software TNL. Let's do a quick benchmark again here now with this setting. Whoop, we got a little, oh my goodness, it went into, why is it doing that? Boy, the screen is all wonky here now. That's funky. Why is it doing that? Is this not doing anytime about 600? Yeah, escape out of this here. This is weird. It's like the resolution that it was coming in at was not correct. Did I miss something? Any other settings I should change here? The texture format should be 16-bit. Or is it because the hardware? That's weird. 800 by 600. Why is it doing 1280 by 600 is what it's detecting right now. That's weird. That's why you're seeing the flickering there. Huh. It's certainly getting a higher FPS, so I'll give it that. But yeah, I can fix the flickering. It's fine. It's rescaling it, but the actual resolution right now is like widescreen. It's really bizarre. But it's certainly running better. But let me see if I can fix the flickering while that's running there. Let's see. Where's the window? This. Doesn't matter. It's just for this test, but I at least got rid of the flickering there. But even here, like, it's not having a good time at all. Yeah. Go find a Bluebeard, see what you can find, yeah. Well, that's the thing again, it's like it's not a bad card for itself, but then yeah, it just didn't hold up over time. We're not getting any huge improvements in performance there yet. There's some, but it's still pretty poor. So compare that to getting into an MX card at the time, probably ran this way better. But I mean, it's, you know, we're already outstretching what the Voodoo file was designed to do, right? So, and this thing, once you start playing games from the 90s, then this is great. Like all your mid to late 90s Glide games run fantastic, of course, on the Voodoo 5. But if it doesn't have the benefit of Glide, it's pretty rough, pretty fast. I know the Voodoo 5s at the end, they were being basically handed out price-wise because they just, you know, they ran out of steam and money, so. Yeah. So, like, again, how did it... Like, I mean, you had what you had, right, as far as cards, and you kind of made do. Yeah, we're still at 7 FPS in the spot here. Woo! you may do what you had. You know, if you had a home computer that was a family one with an MX card in it, that's what you had, and that's what you played with, right? It's not like you're like everyone's spending money on. So, um, but it's a really fun card to have now. But back then, it wasn't exactly desirable. I mean, again, I was not caring about 3D effects by then at all, right? Even Orion XB or Ryx NB, sorry. Yes, it has, this is a socket 1440BX chipset, so it has a, yeah, ISA, PCI, and AGP. It's a fantastic, like, you know, mixture, kind of like does it all motherboard, and it's, you know, rock solid and can be built, you can build a P2 around or a P3, and it's just as happy, like in this case here, with 1 gigahertz, and this machine was actually gifted to me, or the motherboard was, and it originally had a P2 300 or something on it, or a 350, I think, P2 350. And that's what it, you know, lived its life as originally. And then the fact that I can just drop in, and I can just drop in a slot kit and throw a gigahertz processor on the same one is pretty incredible, really. When you think about the performance uplift from an early P2 all the way to a late P3 on the same motherboard. That's a bummer, Sucro, but don't you have a Voodoo 5 now? We have Voodoo 4, I know for sure, so... yeah, and that's the thing. You're not wrong there on the anti-aliasing, which, again, flew me by, because I didn't have a Voodoo 5 or any Voodoo card for this era at all. I was completely past that, so... and, I mean, a lot of tests here aren't even compatible, and don't get me wrong, I am not an expert when it comes to this here. I'll defer to Chap on a lot of this stuff, so... ooh, that's too bad I have an artifact in one. They could probably fix those. I bet, like, that V-Switch Zero guy, right? He was on Twitter. Isn't he the one that, like, desolders the memory circuits and the stuff like that for Voodoos and fixes them? I bet he could do that, but... you're not wrong there, Solar. The Socket 7, and above all, the Super Socket 7 is super flexible. Super. But I'm a big fan of the slot 1. It's so broad in what it can do. And maybe because I do really enjoy that late 90s stuff. It's like, you know, it's a soft spot for me because I played a lot of games during that era. So the 97, 98, 99, 2000, 2001 stuff. There's so much cool stuff in that era. So, yeah. And ideally, I would have a slot 1 gigahertz. But that's, not happening because those are super expensive when they pop up. They're so rare. Everyone wants the high performance slot 1s, and they disappear immediately or at the same prices. I'm like, no. The slot cut adapter was a pittance, like $15, and then the processor here I got pretty cheap. So, oh, interesting. I wonder what chipset that has. RyXNB there. The slot 1 system with that, but I know there's a lot of them. But I got lucky with the 440BX chipset because it is probably the most overclockable, or at least the one you can mess with the most from a 100 FSB perspective. So, yeah, Socket 370 is really good. You're not wrong there either. That's a good one to have. And which, I mean, that's what I'm running here for the processor, right? So, I do actually have. I was gifted a universal AGP Socket 370 board, which I had planned to use as a kind of like a benchmarking or like testing rig. It has a Celeron 1.3 or 1.2 on there, I think. And you could probably pretty easily, that's a good fast machine. You could put a 1.4 there if you wanted to, but the universal AGP is of course a huge deal for the purpose of benchmarking and testing. But I need to recap it because half the caps have done their thing. Hey, we increased the 3D mark by about 90 points, I think, right? Didn't we get 1701 earlier? Look at that. Performance uplift already, but we stretched that Voodoo 5 as far as it will go. You have the dual Voodoo 2. Nice. That should be in 3D Mark 2001? Revent, are you doing that in 2001 with the Voodoo 2s? They're going to have a hard time, I imagine. And 99 seems more appropriate for that, but it is funny how the Voodoo 2s were like the top top dog for so long there with the duals. But I think a Voodoo 3 is going to be, yeah, we're not wrong, Pixel. There, you're correct. So yeah, we're not going to do too much benchmarking because it's fun to look at what it can do. But you know, the whole point was to have the 1 gigahertz. But so now, if we return to reality and not the benchmarking, I ran a lot of benchmarks as when I was younger too. All I sat was there was just, I remember at least with my TNT or TNT2, just running the same benchmarks over and over, trying to get a little higher score, messing with the settings, tweaking it, and it is customized for your enjoyment to call out the fact that we have a 1000 megahertz processor on board. I felt I made sure I highlighted that, so that's true. I mean, that's the thing, it's like once you uncork the Voodoo 5, like, I don't know what the upper range is, right? I'm guessing Phil probably benchmarked all that stuff, but like, maybe Pixel, you have information on that. Like, how much does a Voodoo 5 scale? Like, how far will it go? Like, when does it run out of steam and there's no benefit anymore? I assume, because you usually benchmark with a pretty high-performance P4, right? To take the CPU out of the mix. I'm assuming a high-performance P4 is going to be enough to basically max out the Voodoo 5 and what it can do. That's true, it probably could. Oh yeah, this was hours of toil and sweat to do this here, and I certainly did not do this in MS Paint on this machine right here. But yeah, but let's play a game or two. Something that of course runs very well is Unreal Tournament, so we'll just do a little bot match in Unreal Tournament real quick, and just show off the Voodoo 5 with Glide, how well it runs. So. Okay. Because, yeah, I mean, there's a limit, of course, but then having a processor of a caliber is, of course, vastly outpacing anything that would be matched with the Voodoo 5 for real. That's crazy, though. But didn't Phil do that? He made a huge, like, Voodoo scaling.
In 2291, in an attempt to control violence among deep space miners, the New Earth government legalized...
I hate how clipped this audio is here. It's so bad. We are running here at, this is 1024 16-bit at high, and it runs beautifully. Using Glide, of course. Is it doing one of those, like, fake AGP stuff like the Voodoo 3 does? Yeah, nice to have you here early. But, I know the Voodoo 3, for example, is not real AGP. It doesn't take advantage of everything, so... yeah. But I'm pretty sure Phil did that. I think he did a big, like, Voodoo scaling project, right? He benchmarked a whole bunch of stuff, which is fascinating to read and see how far it does stretch out. And you get into the point where it's completely unrealistic. Like, you wouldn't run a Voodoo 2 with, like, yeah, you know, Pentium 4 or whatever. That's kind of ludicrous in that sense. Or realistically, they're so far apart. But the fact that it does scale even that high, I'm pretty sure, like, they go really far. I don't know the reason why that is, but I'm just an enjoyer of the game, so. Where's our, there we gotta go with this one, of course. This should run really well. This is, of course, kind of a strong suit. We're in 99, right? And we have, you know... I don't have a... I'm stuck. It's certainly not running like full 60 all the time, but it is more an enjoyable experience. Oh, someone... Who shot me? I'm not actually good at this game. It's just fun. Splat. Whoops. Out on the mouse wheel, which makes it very difficult. Language! The music in this game is just so fantastic. Nya, 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 nya. Ow, I need some health. Oh no, in the goo. Double kill. Ultra kill. You can only get that on the opposing tower, so... I'm not gonna play this too long, because I mean, it's just bot match, but it's still fun. The difficulty is pretty low on the bots here, I mean... Ugh. Rampage. I'm playing without a mouse wheel too, which is difficult, so I like to switch weapons, but... I mean, the thing is, you forget playing this. When you're just having fun and playing, then, it doesn't matter much the performance, so... Ow. Whee! Yeah, I'm more of an Unreal guy too, mostly because I played it in LAN so much. We had so much fun doing like Assault and those. I played so much Unreal Tournament 99. Oh. In the goo! Yeah. I had fun with Quake 3, but every time we played Unreal Tournament, it was just more fun, I guess. Just more fun, straight up. Especially the look at this, is that not handling the light very well there? The flickering here is pretty bad. Look at the, I guess we have VSync off, but, ow. Who's shooting me? I don't even see. I need a Doom guy's face to tell me where I'm getting hit from. I just like the way Unreal Tournament felt. It was just better to me. Compared to Quake. Just had a different vibe to it, and it was really cool, and it was quick and very impressive, but Unreal Tournament just had like a different vibe to it. I have spoken. But again, you're playing it and it's fine. It's not like you're sitting here like, oh man, I wish I was playing on a different video card, but I mean, it plays fine. Yeah, the best part was definitely all the assault and all those, for sure. That's what I had the most fun. Capture the flag and the assault. Probably the one we played the most because that was so much fun. Yeehaw. Who's shooting me? 28 health left. 21. Still good. Yeah, they got rid of like all the Unreal. It was real bizarre. Some sort of deal must have, or licensing deal must have expired because it was really weird. I don't know what my setting is right now, how far I'm going to play. Whee! Not the goo! Not the goo! I am also a big sucker for that mod music. It's so good. What's the count here? What are we playing to? Ow. Was it the first who gets to 30? Alright, well, Emerald Tournament. We won't stay there too long, but... Okay. That sounds about like the right progression, so... in order to catch up on chatter now, I was just busy with an Emerald Tournament here, but I'm not going to hang out on too much in it, because Emerald Tournament, everyone's played it. Unnatural. One that was specific request was Need for Speed Porsche Unleashed, so let's play that, a little glide racing action. I do have the original disc here, but no box for this one, sadly. But that's a glide-based game as well. Eating Brett? Yeah, it is really, really good. Race. Well, it's actually closer than I thought, because we got 1700, was it, on the Voodoo 5? And the Voodoo 2 SLI, the fact that it got that far. Okay, I already clicked the race. Electronic cards. Challenge everything. Am I going to get delisted now? I thought this was so cool. Like, look at that. Like, oh, it's Porsche, like, licensed cars. How awesome is that? Yeah, I'll say that's probably pretty bare bones. I mean, I don't think anyone intended for the Voodoo 2 SLI to run, nice interlaced graphics here, to run the 3 Mark 2001. What we did on this one was... I don't know. I'm a huge sucker for Underground 2. I like this one a lot. I play this one in LAN a lot. I'm a sucker for the first one. But I would probably say Underground 2 is more because it's so period, like, so right in the early 2000s, so... yeah, exactly. And they were very selective who they licensed to, Porsche was. And I think that's why there were so many games that used the RUF or rough ones instead. I know Gran Turismo did, for example, so... but what we used to do in gaming, in when we played LAN parties, I had a steering wheel with no force feedback, so it was just super cheap, like it would just twist or whatever. We would play on the Autobahn level on this in this game, which is just a huge, like, long straightaways, and then we would race with the GT1 cars, the fastest ones, and then see who could win, basically. And that was really fun. And we just, you know, flat out as fast as you can. But there's been no other, like, it's weird that, like, of all the ones Porsche did, like, oh, here's a licensed Need for Speed game with just Porsches and nothing else. Coming off the Road Challenge and Hot Pursuit. Not Hot Pursuit, Road Challenge and, it's called something else. High Stakes. You know, where you basically are racing and winning the opponent's car, right? And then they went to this, and it's like, it's one manufacturer. It's such a weird choice. But it's a good game, don't get me wrong, but it's still a weird choice. Loading. This is 2000, so it's right smack in the middle here. And I have my Frosted Tip character still there, because That's of course, it's early 2000s. We gotta have it. Let's check out our options and settings here. Graphics. 16. Car detail high, high, very high. Advanced settings. Projected. Lens flare has to be on, obviously. I mean, why else would you play? You're right. I should probably check that. I was wondering if that was in here or not, but I guess it's not. But you are correct. I should check that. Let's exit out and double check that. Because I thought it had the settings in here, but you're right. It probably has that in the configuration here. Let's see. Where is this in the menu here? Somewhere. Yay. There it is. Never speed up portion unleashed. 3D setup. Good call out. Thank you, Foil. Voodoo 5 AGP. Cool. We enable triple buffer, I guess. I thought there was an option here to select like glide and all that stuff, but I guess it's just this one, so it's going to use glide then automatically. But we should probably triple buffer that, right? Sweet. That's it. Every time there's no graphic options, Pixel sheds a single tear. Now, there were quite a bit of options in the game, but that's pretty hilarious, though. Okay, yeah, if you want to double check and double check, yeah, you're not wrong. But it was a setting, and I have the top Voodoo card. I should enable everything, right? I don't care what it does or if it helps me in performance. I need to enable everything. But now we have VSync off, so my frosted tips just don't care. Do a quick race. There we go. Ooh, 911 3.6 turbo. Look at the car details here. It's just funny because you look at games now, like your Forza Horizon and all these, and Gran Turismo, and the car details are just insane. You look at it here, like this is the 3D model we're using. Look at the engine. Oh man, ooh, cool. You can like open everything and like look at the rendering. Yeah. Same class. Normandy. A red turbo 911. 911 turbo. UI designer wants to have a chat here. Interesting. So this is Direct 3D then. Replace it with M Voodoo 2 to force glide as default render. Okay, well, let's try that then. That's odd. Maybe I have that set already. Let's double check. There it is. I do not have it set. So, we will do... is it before or after the quote mark? I never remember. No, we gotta do it after, right? Really? That seems weird. Huh. We can also check if there's any configuration files. Let's take a look. And it seems like it would allow you to choose that, but... Oh, for the ini file? Sorry. Okay. Let's take a look. Where's our ini file? README. Install. Start ini file. 3D setup. There we go. Uh-huh. Okay. So, why can't I choose this? They have Voodoo 3 here. But as a registry key, so is that what we need to have in the registry? Because this is what we ran before, right? And it just... Okay. I don't have Discord open right now, but I'll open it. I was trying to reduce the risk of any problems with my connection. I'll open Discord and take a look. I need to fasten the side of this case. So again, this is the... Where my mouse went here now? Come on, where'd it go? There it is. This case, the left-hand side, is just, even with the Titan and the front, is just not very tight, so it just kind of vibrates with the fan, and it's quite noisy, so. Let's take a look. Thanks for that tag out there. Let's see. Okay, run the game with Porsche.exe, driver Voodoo 2. Okay. Let's see, replace it to Voodoo 2. We already did that, right? Because it has all these settings here, so we just need to run it with this switch, right? Because it has all of those options here. It's weird that it doesn't... Oh, driver equals Voodoo 3. So then we should be able to do like this. Probably needs to switch there. That's weird, because the way they're talking about it there... replace the DX with Voodoo 2 on the Voodoo 2 line. I think I'm confused here now. Because run the game with the Porsche.exe driver Voodoo 2 command. Yeah, so that's that one there. They already have the string. Yeah, that's true, it does. We just want the glide. I remember having to mess with glide as well from doing in the older Need for Speed games as well. I'm still really confused on where, because I mean, what I'm assuming, and this is a list of the renderers available, and you just need to call this renderer, right? That's it. From the command line when you run the game. So it should be here, but... Because that's just the render is there. Yeah, it's Voodoo 2.z whatever. But how do you call that then from the command line when you run it? Guess I can just do this. Evening, Bruce, welcome. Because I do have the Voodoo 2 in there. I'll see, maybe that's enough. Also hard to say which one it's using, right? So... Alright, we'll try that. Also, how would we know which one is running now? Because, I mean, Direct 3D runs really well on here, right? Oh. Of course I quit out of it. Because we can do, because you're not allowed to do this. The driver... I'd have to do a command line switch like this. Driver equals Voodoo 2. See if it lets you do that. So, evening, Tom. Welcome. I got the need for speed. Porsche Unleashed. Yeah, and that's the thing with the Voodoo. Like, if you had one, it was cool, but then just wanting one, especially during a certain era, right? So now the question is, how would we know that we're actually in glide mode here now? Is it actually... No, I don't want to exit. It might be sitting right there. There's the Voodoo 5 box at least, so... Alright, let's race here now. Regardless of what's going on here now, we'll do a race here with our 911 Turbo. Because I'm a sucker for 911 Turbo. Same class. Blue Normandy. Boom! I love the turbo inline sixes from Porsche. Sorry, inline boxer sixes from Porsche. They sound fantastic. It was one time I was at a drag strip race as a spectator. Oh, it runs quite well. We'll have to assume this is glide, I guess, but runs really well. And this again is right smack in the middle. Smooth. I went to a drag strip race, and it was just like modified cars and stuff like that. A lot of, like, growing up in Sweden, it was a lot of, you know, four-wheel or front-wheel drive turbo cars like Saabs and Volvos and whatever. But then two mid-90s 911 turbos came up that were tuned and boosted, and my goodness, the sound they made was just so fantastic. It just screamed on the drag strip with those boxer sixes doing their... It's fine, it's fine. We are driving the Widowmaker. Those that are a car interested, the rear, or the engine is in the rear with the rear-wheel drive on the Porsches of this era, and well, pretty much all the 911 platform is, and that made it aggressively oversteer at certain times. Made it the nickname Widowmaker with the turbo when it kicked in. No VTEC, didn't kick in, yo, but the turbo. I'm of course playing this with the keyboard. That's the turn. I meant to do that. I should not look at chat while I'm racing. Don't race in chat, everyone. But that's where I think, like, you know, it's nice to have Voodoo 5, like, sitting around or whatever, but I love using it because it's a great card. It's a really fun card to mess with. I mean, knowing that it's, you know, the top Voodoo card, realistically. Oh my goodness, every time I tap the brake, it oversteers. Hail comes out. That's true. Also, now it's listing lazily to the... Oh, look at those hands. Pinnacle of 3D graphics. You know, the people that feel comfortable texting and driving, they should really be streaming and a racing game and then chatting looking at the chat and see how well they race. I thought this looked so cool. It's just funny how much, in my mind, this looked like modern 3D games look now, right? You think back to then, it's like, oh my goodness, it looks so realistic, and the cockpit view is amazing. Whoa, and there we go. There's that back end again. Yeah, I do not, unfortunately, Brett, so therefore, we're having conversations with the side barrier quite a bit. That's true, you're not wrong there. I'm trying to think back now, too, that, well, you don't drive a car like this, where you're just, like, jerking back and forth all the time. I'm probably gonna get, like, a content match idea because I did music here now, but oh well. It's worth it. The car is pulling to the left now because we have a little bit of damage in the front left there for you know, some idiot crashed it and someone else. Not me, obviously. I had so much fun with this game. We played it so much in LAN, which is where it really shines. We would race each other. I'll say we're finished, right? Because I don't have any controls anymore. Even it out. And yeah, this is such a fun... Of course I did. Of course I did. Well, it feels like it's not the same class, right? I guess it was beginner, but... Look at that replay here. It was a pretty game. I remember playing this and like thinking, this is really good looking, and I think it holds up, you know, somewhat, but... But back to your interior thing there, Pixel, you're probably right, because not that many render the interior, and that was the thing that I felt like they often skimped on because there wasn't enough rendering, you know, budget to do that. So they weren't focusing on it. I mean, the outside of the cars, and then maybe some basic flat interior. And it feels to me, too, maybe I'm remembering wrong now, but the early games that were Glide didn't really do very well with that. Like, a lot of the games that were 3D, like Descent, didn't have a cockpit view at all, right, when they were in Glide mode, so... fine. It's fine. Don't worry, I'm a professional. Yeah. We should do that sometime, too. We should do a dedicated software mode stream, and just play a whole bunch of 3D Accelerate games in software mode. I think that would be fun, too. Just to see it. You know, your Half-Life, games like this, Quake, of course, and that kind of stuff. And it's something special about that, too. And it can look really good, so... yeah. Actually, we did stream a couple of years ago now. Was it... It's funny because for Windows 98, the Gran Turismo 4 steering wheel for PS2 worked for Windows 98. There are drivers for it. Look, is it Mark Zuckerberg driving that car? That works. So you plug that in with the right drivers, and then you have a full 4-seat-back setup and everything. And it works great. We did stream that a few years ago now. I haven't messed with it since. But the fact that wheel, I kept it from PS2 era, works flawlessly in Windows 98 is pretty funny. Including, you know, the shifter and the manual, the analog steering. So that is the Gran Turismo Sport wheel that was released together with Gran Turismo 4. Yeah. You know, yeah, that would be funny, Doppler. That's kind of like what the, it was like gratuitous car mode in the Horizon and all the current, like, car racing games where you can go in the car. That's almost a Doug mode, so... Yeah, exactly. The fact that there is Windows 98 drivers for it. That's the kicker, right? And we tried it, and I literally just plugged it into the same computer. We streamed it on this machine with that Windows 98 Gran Turismo wheel. Got the GT logo on and everything. And it worked flawlessly, so... Detected it in Windows, and then it was available for use in all the games. I mean, we'll do another a race here with one of the... do we have access to the really fast cars? I think I have to unlock them, which is a bummer. Using the campaign. That's the 911 GT car. GT3 Cup. Yeah, you have to unlock stuff, which is kind of a bummer. Let's download this car to race. Yeah, there's no... The bummer, you have to basically... And I hate when they do this, right? They shouldn't do this for, like, I just want to, you know, play. And if you have to basically play the entire campaign if you want to unlock all the cars. For just this. Which is a bummer, because then you basically lock out the people from doing the whole arcade piece of it. And, I don't know. Annoying. Yeah, you have to download that too. None of the race class cars are available. I should unlock that. I'm sure there's a way to do that. EA game, you say? What, the 928 GTS is also? Good lord. It's a silver color. Yeah, we got it, the silver Porsche. Yeah, I probably should. It's in the game. It's your credit card. Drive with the sheet over. How did the interior view look, so? Yeah, exactly. That you got a good list there already, Foil. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think it would be really fun to do that as a stream. Focus on just running software mode. That's what the ghost car is. It's an actual car, just someone threw a sheet over it. They're really good drivers. 911 Turbo, where are you? Oh yeah, look at the beige interior. Oh, we're tunnel bombing in our 911 now. Yeah, that's unfortunate. The Sin is a really good game. I do have it actually available here now for if you want to test it out tonight, but I think they would be really fun just to check out a lot of those games using software rendering and just kind of see games that are so used to seeing like in 3D accelerated. And I think that's really fun then to maybe take a look at and see how they look in software rendering, because they're kind of, you know, legendary in 3D, or games that you probably never ever would have played in the software rendering mode unless you had just an awful computer, and even then probably was not something you do. Oh, that's right, that was a Sin episode 1, you're right. Was that a remake? I thought it was just new episodes or something, but I guess they were trying to restart it again, but... Point being that this Voodoo 5 runs this game great, though. Oh, there's the tail end again. Hit the brakes too hard and locked up. I'm a real race driver here, so... With my analog, or my digital steering inputs. I am not good at taking a racing line. So that's right, so they were trying to add new episodes to it, right, and kind of continue it. But yeah, that never did go anywhere, did it? It's a fascinating universe, but I mean, it's kind of... You play it now, and it's like, oh my goodness, the main character is so, like, 90s extreme, is ridiculous, and the main villain is a very well-rendered lady, and yeah. Oh, yeah, it's not hard to get the tail to come out on this one here. But I love the music. It's got that club feel to it. You got, you know, licensed Porsches, and... Whoa! Ow! Gone in 60 Seconds was out, alright? When this came out, right? That was the thing, too, is like episodic content is always challenging, and if you're actually going to get it out. It works with adventure games or story-driven games, I think, but it's going to be hard for shooters, I guess. Has there been any, like, episodic shooters that... See, I looked at chat, and then we were having a little fun here. No problem. See, Porsches have excellent safety, too, so that was no problem. Just a few minor concussions, and then he's just keep driving. Including the incredibly shaky, simulating vibration of the road there. But it runs great. But I always thought it was really... in Christian, again? That's right, it was called Porsche 2000 in Europe, wasn't it? Here it's called Porsche Unleashed. It's a little funny because I have the original jewel case. I don't have the full box, but the back here has the key on it, and it's like it has words: Busy Dent Perk Duke. So if you want to license your whatever, yeah, Busy Dent Perk Duke is the code here. So. The truck I drove in the military, and this was in 2000, or 99, 2000 era. Look at you can see in the car. Isn't that cool? And the truck was from 1963, so that tells you something. It was like a, you know, 40-year-old truck. And with a non-turbo inline, it was like a freaking huge inline six-cylinder diesel with no turbo. And you felt each revolution of the engine. This shook the car, like, or the whole truck like this. Like it dipped every time the engine rolled over. And that shook. The steering wheel, I was so large and so flat, I could put my elbows through and rest them on my knees as I was driving, so... so yeah, Porsche 2000 / Porsche Unleashed runs great. And it's really almost like a perfect example of the gigahertz power with the Voodoo 5. It's super solid, so... But I am not a fan of the fact that you have to, like, play the career mode to unlock. Oh, look at that. It's like real retro. Our gigahertz got its first crash there. I was a little worried there it would run flawlessly. Put the CD out. Let's see. What should we play now? We got a whole stack of games here, too. I want to try a game here that I actually picked up recently. And that is Wargasm. I have never really played it, but we got it at that L&Y Electronics outlet store that Suka and I visited in DC. It is proudly proclaiming 3D effects on here. Now, this game is a little older. It requires a P166, but it has specifically calling out 3D effects Voodoo, Voodoo 2, Voodoo Rush, Voodoo Banshee. So it's that old. Riva TNT. Here's the full list of video cards on this one here. We have 3D Labs Permedia 2, 3D Effects Voodoo Graphics, 3D Effects Voodoo 2, 3D Effects Voodoo Rush, 3D Effects Voodoo Banshee, NVIDIA Riva 128, NVIDIA Riva TNT, Intel i740, ATI Rage Pro, Rendition V2X00, S3 Savage 3D, and Matrox G200. Now that's a period piece. So let's see how this runs here. It should just be very easy. But the fact that 3D effects is extremely prominently featured here on the box, but I did not see that this actually listed out the Savage 3D. Not even the Savage 4, but the Savage 3D. So recommended as a P266. And then, yeah, with the 3D. So this is a 1998 game, it looks like. Yep, 1998. But yeah, I would not probably run this with some of those cards, but it might be interesting to check that out at some point, so. I did install. I've never played this. I don't really know what kind of game it is. I think it's like, run around a huge environment and shoot things. Almost like a Battlefield type game. Yeah, it had the whole list of things there. Yep, sure was. It's Wargasm. It's ridiculous. Yes, I want to play it. I don't want to... Question. You know, if the game's already installed, it should really suppress the auto run, I would think, but that is just... DID. Interesting. All right, let's see what settings we have, if any, here. What's our gigahertz going to do here in this game? But yeah, it's pretty broad support out of the box of everything, it looks like, so. Is it going to work? Is it going to run? I have not patched this one, so if this doesn't work, we may have to look and find a patch, maybe. Interesting. Okay. I might start looking for a patch here. I'm not feeling super hopeful about this one. I'll see if there is one. There's an official patch. I'll download that. All right, Pixel, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Go get some sleep. Eating Missoon. Diamond Viper 2 is a nice card. We, I believe, have a hard lock up. The numlock doesn't even work. A CD was just like full speed spinning there with no actual activity light. There we go. Maybe it was the CD now firing up there. We'll see. Welcome to Rick's random black screen of death. Not going to do anything, I think. The gigahertz cannot overpower this game. There we go. See if we can end the task. Yes, I like to end it. It's not really doing anything, is it? We certainly try again. There was no settings that I saw Wargasm config. There we go. All right. That's probably should be... It didn't launch that at the start, but I figured out that would be calling out there. Also knowing this is Windows 98, we may have to reboot before we can get to that point. Yeah, I can't even unlock now, so... We may just do a hard reboot here to get past this. So Windows 98 and you're messing with settings, then that's what you get. Yeah, we have an unstable system now, I think. Let's reboot. If we're going to get that far. Come on, you can do it, gigahertz. It's funny, you forget that, like, generally how stable computers are anymore now. And you go back to this era, and, like, you had to reboot for everything, you know, and it just mess with anything. It was a reboot instability. And, I mean, Windows 98 SE is still great. I mean, it runs, you know, a lot of stuff, no problem. But then you get into random stuff, and it starts freezing and crashing, and... Yeah, I think we may have to. Sorry, gigahertz. There. I do have a reset button. We'll use the reset button. For those that are aware, I'm actually going to go pick up an interesting system tomorrow, hopefully. Found locally that someone was selling a Atari Mega 2 ST, or ST2 Mega, which stands for 2 megabytes, so it's basically... I like to live dangerously, forget that. Which is basically like a 1987-88 Atari computer, kind of like equivalent to the Amiga, right? The 500. So I'm excited to pick that up because finding that locally is pretty rare. And especially with the RGB monitor, because that's the hard one, is if you buy that online, you can buy probably a Mega 2. Not that hard, I'm guessing. But then getting a monitor and shipping that's the risky part, right? Because you need an RGB monitor or a specific monitor to support the Atari ST. You can use TV as well, but you're not going to get a signal, I think. So the RGB monitor is by far the best option. Find that locally, so hopefully picking that over lunchtime tomorrow, including a couple of external hard drive cases, which is pretty cool because it's a SCSI internally for the Atari, and you can use a blue SCSI then, in theory. Oh, I'm the wild one. I'm not going to register my Sound Blaster. Take that, society. Let's see if we can run that configuration here again now. Is it going to launch? Hey, there we go. Advance, please. 16-bit, high resolution. Well, it's... Seems fine here. Anything anyone sees I should not have on here. 16-bit color, high, bilinear filter, mip mapping is off, dynamics off, fog. VSync is on, that should be fine, but... Dithering is on, should be fine. We'll see if it just was a fluke or if I need to get the patch for it. There's an official patch for the game. So, we'll see. I don't have my NAS hooked up correctly now. So I'll have to plug it in quick if I do to copy the file. So, oh, nice. Holy cow, that's a lot of games. Yeah, it worked. Second. I think the CD drive is a little iffy sometimes. I may have to end up replacing it, but... Anything in options here? Detail. Cheat active. Max settings. I was going to go into instant fight. It really feels like a Battlefield kind of thing here going on now. Hey, look at this 3D accelerated bonanza here. Oh, yeah. All right, where's my next objective here? Turn up the volume a little bit, it's a little quiet. Boom. Oh, that's a little too loud. This is how war is fought, right? Very loud here now. Oh, there's a radar. So it's basically a battle tank, more or less. Goner. It's got some oomph to it there, but yeah, the... Let's see, where's the... Oh, there's a guy there. Oh, jeez! Brutal. So yeah, it mostly just looks like it's, boy, pretty epic music, though. Man. Quite epicness going on here. I just love... Look at the shadow there on the ground. I gotta take a... Is there a pause menu? Oh, we have zoom here too. It's gotta be a way to reduce or lower the tower, right? The turret. Feels like a World of Tank kind of thing going on here. I do have the instruction manual, so I guess I can actually look in that and see if there's a quick guide here for how to control. Yes, Return Fire is fantastic. I want to play Return Fire 2, even though I have the box for it. So you can have tactical orders. You can have someone actually having tactical control. That's pretty cool then. Group functions. Okay, tank, forward. Turret left, right, shift, and joystick left and right. There we go. You can hold shift, you can turn the turret, and lower it and up, raise it. Okay, got it. That looks to be pretty much it. Raise lower weapon. So what's the select weapon? No, it's just the only gun or weapon I have. Evening glue here? Oh, failed out of time. What? Lame. Try that one more time, I guess, but that was pretty like just to go. Just getting used to the tank controls, I'm guessing. Oh yeah, bullseye. Watch me. Challenge. Challenge accepted. We'll find a turn somewhere and hit. Oh, there we go. There's a time limit, yeah. Look at the lens flare. Ooh. Yeah, this is more like a Voodoo 2 game, right? This is not a... Alright, so where's our next one? I don't see it on the radar. Oh, there we go. So where's my objective? There's a lot of things here. I assume I have to destroy everything. That would be ridiculous, but... Alright. Oh, you read the objective? Who reads the objectives? I guess that would do it. Okay. There's another tank. Boy, that sure is epic. Look at that excessive lens flare. That's amazing. There's one. This is like a classic epic song, isn't it? I mean, it's a classic song. Apparently that's a thing they use in these tank games. Yeah, Return Fire is very happy to use those kind of songs too. Oh, let's not drive down there. It's like a generally bad idea. Ooh, bullseye. Is there a way to get across here? You have to drive down. There's a bridge all the way to the north there. I'm gonna run out of time. You can't handle the 1 gigahertz. This is really difficult to do this. Trying to do that at the same time. Gigahertz. Very epic war music, yeah. I think there's a bridge up there. This is all keyboard control. Like, I'm using the arrow keys to drive, and I can hold shift to turn using the same movement controls. I can then use shift to turn. Turn the turret. Whoa. There we go. But I assume, let's see if I can drive. Can I drive down here? Whee! Let's see. Oh, there's no suspension on the tank. Got a little further that time, but it reminds me a little bit of the kind of Amiga games. Multiple. Yeah, as you can play multiplayer. So this is definitely more like a multiplayer kind of game than like a mission-driven one, considering it was just like an objective, like kill X number of units or whatever. So, yeah, it's neat, but I assume there's different, like, once you progress in the game a little more, you get more different vehicles. It looks like a little rock, paper, scissors, and I think it's kind of like, yeah, undercover darkness, your elite group, special force, blah, blah. That's true. If you could turn into a mech, it would be a lot faster. I don't think we're going to linger too much on that one. It's a neat game, at least, but clearly a lower, like, spec compared to what the actual machine can do, so. All right, what do we feel like now? I can pick something. Do we feel like another shooter? Do we feel like another racing game? Something else entirely? I do have some other options for something else entirely as well. If you want to push the machine or keep it pretty mellow, we open up. Or maybe we should just try something older, like, you know, Quake 2 or something like that in Glide, which runs, of course, basically flawlessly. Was manual is really hefty. There we go. All right, Bruce, thanks for stopping by. See you later. I don't have Alice installed. I would like to do Alice at some point. I think that's one that I would like to stream just straight up properly. So maybe let's do a little bit of just classic Quake 2 here. I could put in the actual CD and we can listen to the actual music. Has anyone heard of the music in Quake 2? This runs, of course, really well. In fact, let's find out how well. Yeah, what is it? So it is... Is it, what is it? Is it... What is it? Is it map? Help me. Remind me now. I can't remember. I run this 100 times and all of a sudden I'm blanking. It's just... DM2. There we go. Demo2 DM2. Thank you. Come on, let's go. Full speed. Anyone catch the Doom Marine or Grunt that just ran over me? Let's do demo 1 too. It never gets old, does it? Oh, that's hilarious. But yeah, 170 frames per second, or 160 plus, is pretty applicable for you know, using I think we're at 800 by 600. For some reason, it won't initialize it at 1024. I don't think this is MO3, at least not built in. Now we're gonna drop the resolution. So right now we're at, okay, it went to default OpenGL. So I could have sworn I used, what is probably could have happened here too is that I messed with the I may have to reinstall the GL plugins here. Yeah, so I think what needs to happen now is that we need to grab the mini driver from System 32, I think, right, and drop it into where it is. Let's see, System 32 drivers. It is OpenGL, isn't it? Someone has to help me remember here now, because I think I mess with this a lot with, yeah, there we go. I think that's old, so I think I need to do this here. I think I replaced this to do the Savage 4. Let's try that again and see if it actually initializes now. Doppler? No. We need max power. See if it's going to do 3D effects now, or if we need the... Yeah, I think we need the 3D effects mini driver open... It's missing, isn't it? I don't see the 3D effects driver in here, so I have to grab that, which I think is in... I don't think it drops it in here, right? It probably is in the driver files. There's 3D effects. This one we need 3D. Oh, okay. So you need the mini glide driver, whatever they call them, right? I'm just a little fuzzy on here now. I think we have to go into the installation folder for yeah, 3D effects interactive. Notice some tools here. Because we basically need the 3D effects mini driver to drop in here. I think it might be this one, though. It's not able to initialize 3D effects right now, basically, because the OpenGL driver for 3D effects is missing. That might have been it, but also might have crashed hardcore here now. Yep. So maybe we should just run it OpenGL mode then. That's fine. I mean, that's fine too, but... yeah, I heard a rumor as well that they were working on it, and they certainly could do it justice, right? The Quake 1 remaster is fantastic. And I haven't even played Quake 2 RTX, honestly, so... It did not like that OpenGL one. Here we are messing with the stuff and breaking it in the process. That's just par for the course when you're messing with retro computers of this era. So we're doing a hard reboot again. Yeah, I really need to try it. So what's really cool is using a CRT with ray tracing. It looks really, really nice, and we've streamed that a couple of times too. But the 3060 Ti went into my machine I use for playing Steam games on my TV, and I moved that one machine because it's pretty easy accessible, and plug in the a 17-inch CRT, and ray trace games with a CRT looks really, really nice. It looks like the original, except just like ridiculously cool. And I highly recommend it if you have the opportunity to do so. Just a dongle. All right. Not a hard reset. So yeah, I think something with the mini driver there. I don't remember exactly, but I could have sworn we have to basically drop the DLL file for the driver for 3D effects, which is like a mini glide driver that goes in there, and that's going to make Quake work. Because what I think it's doing now, I could be incorrect here. What I think it's doing is that if you don't have the specific DLL file in there, it tries to use the system driver. And I'm guessing something's wrong with the system driver here for the glide. And in the case of Quake 2, of course, it runs great in OpenGL, so it's not like we need the glide. So But it is, you know, because we can, dang it. And yes, that is the Soundmaster Live Thunder sound there. I might take a look at my NAS and see if I drop the driver for that. 3D effects, OpenGL mini driver. I think we may have to install that. There we go. This is what I'm looking for. Glide 3. Pretty sure that's it. So let's see. Games. Yeah, Quake 2 is really, really weird. It's like, when you think about it in the line of Quake games, I mean, Quake 1 is just kind of weird too, in the sense that it has that Lovecraftian theme. I wish they would do a remake, a modern one, and go back to that. Funny story, actually, this is not actually Retro NAS, or this is my own Buffalo NAS. I just happened to name it that. But this is a SMB1 enabled NAS, so let's see. We're going to delete the one I just copied. So yeah, I put the metal. I think that's what's happening. That one's overwriting. So we're going to move that out. And we are going to, let's see, where did I drop the 3D effects one? Yeah, we're going to delete that one. And then we're going to take these here. I'm going to put these glide files here. I'm pretty sure that's needed here. Then we're going to run Quake 2. And then we'll see what happens. All right, it booted that time. So let's see if we can go to glide now. No, it just goes back to software. Why can't it initialize? What does it say here now? I can't scroll because I don't have a wheel, so I can't go up. I don't know why it doesn't like 3D effects here. I know it supports it, but if anyone has any ideas why it doesn't like using that, and again, I could have messed with this stuff too. I don't know, because I did a whole bunch of stuff to this, so yeah, that's true. This is a change log, I guess. May have to just reinstall it too. I mean, I can't say that I didn't like mess with it a whole bunch, so we can just run it in OpenGL mode, of course, too, which works great. I mean, it's basically Glide at that point, like Glide has. Really? I don't think I have WickedGL available right now, so yeah, I really should do a video on it. I had planned to do a networking video, basically, to talk about that. Hard reboot again. Okay, well, we'll just cut our losses there and just do OpenGL and play a little bit of Quake 2 without running a super speed. But I plan to do a full networking video on how to network old computers together, because it's actually not that difficult and it gives you a lot of flexibility. The kicker, of course, is transferring files, and there are ways to do that. The Retro NAS open source project that's available is really powerful because it can create an SMB1 share. But in my case, I'm using an old NAS, a Buffalo NAS that I bought when it was new. It has a 500 gig drive in it, and that's where I drop all the stuff on it, because SMB1 is enabled on it, and these old computers can reach it just fine. And it's much faster to transfer files that way, of course. Once the network is established, just drag your files over. I have a secondary NIC on my main computer that's plugged into that same retro network. So I have plans to make a video on it, and I just keep pushing it back all the time, of course. So, okay, can we now start Quake 2 without it actually crashing, or do we have to reboot again? It launched that time. Okay, so let's go to OpenGL. Nope, we cannot. Ding. Heard a ding. I must have messed with it too much. Let's see if I have a fresh install of Quake 2 on my NAS, because that might be quicker than... I don't know if I do or not. I do. So we're gonna recopy it here. Since C Quake 2. All right, well, let's go to games. And then we're going to recopy it. Oh, it already exists. Okay, so I have 2 versions here now. Oh, there's the other one. So let's try this one then. Who knows? Gonna crash again? Hard crash. Wow. It really doesn't like whatever I have set up here with this. Yes, retro computers. It's funny because I was figuring an easy one would be to play Quake 2 and just kind of blow through it a little bit. We did run it, right? I mean, we all saw it. But I have a feeling something in the driver here is not liking this at all. I'm guessing the 3dfx MIDI driver is busted somehow, and it's causing freezes, so hard reboot again. We're giving our gigahertz a workout here now, so... But I rely on the networking right now for pretty much all my retro needs. I don't... I guess I have to burn CDs, you know, here and there, but if I can get network drivers or a network card in a retro machine for any Windows-related ones, then you can just copy stuff to your heart's content, and it's much faster to do that. You get your drivers, and then I have a driver repository, so if I have network drivers on a machine, and then I can just get in and access my NAS, and at that point, be able to do literally anything I need for copying files like we just saw. But I'm a little curious why that second installation of Quake also was bombing out. Unless I had messed with the OpenGL in here. I was missing the OpenGL driver here. Was that in the... I don't think that was in here at all, so let's take a look quick. Quake 2... Nope. But it was in here. Not this one. Quake 2. Is the Quake... Where are you, Quake 2? There you are. Alright, we'll try one more time. There's no command line in that one. If it launches... Wow. I wonder what's going on here. Like a hard freeze. Goodness. Alright, we'll abandon Quake 2, which just ran fine, but in its Quakes 2 defense, I had messed a lot with Quake 2 to make it use the metal renderer. Because you basically put the metal renderer for the S3 Savage card in there, and it redirects, it's not a wrapper per se, but it redirects the OpenGL calls to the metal renderer instead, and allows you to leverage that. I clearly did something there. What I'll probably do is just nuke all the Quake 2 installations I have on this machine, and then take care of that, so... yeah, I was running from the C drive. I just realized I had copied it before. So yeah, I'm sure something was messed up there with my messing around with the metal API. So, Quake 2, everyone. Great, right? I got plenty of other games installed, so... Warcraft 3, you know, I'm not sure. That's still within the range of this, isn't it? Warcraft 3? Would that, I can't even remember, did that run on Windows 98? I can check, I have the big box for it. Let's see, Windows 98 ME 2000 XP. What are the specs? 400 megahertz minimum, recommended 600, a 32 megabyte 3D video card, DirectX 8. It would run. Gonna try Warcraft 3 on here? I'll even open this box, yeah. Here's the big box for Warcraft 3, which is a little more rare than the regular box, but actually a coworker... I do have DirectX 9 on this machine, so... a coworker at the place I was working at the time, he came by and was like, oh, you like old computer games, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, I'm a big Warcraft fan, and I don't play these anymore, so you want them? So he dropped this big box, which is like it was only at certain like big retailers, and he's like, just, hey, do you want this Warcraft 3 big box? I'm like, absolutely. And I'm like, thank you so much. He gave me the small box for, I was gonna say, Frozen Throne as well, but I mean, that alone here was amazing. This is the multi-install too. I think it has a Macintosh installer on here because it did give, it had Mac here too. Macintosh OS 9 or higher, 400 megahertz G3 processor. So yeah. TNT IA10. IA10. What the heck is that card? That's not a 7. Is that an Intel card? IA10. Voodoo 3. Rage 128 or equivalent or better. It's the minimum requirements. Oh, it must be. There, no one look away. Or no one look. Aha! Tricked you! Privacy screen activated. And I trust everyone here. It's not that, but I mean, it's going to be a VOD, so it'll be on it permanently. So, you know, this is my actual real live copy. So, I think that this came around after Diablo 2, right? That's when they started having that. Because my Diablo 2 copy does not have it, but my Lord of Destruction has the multi, but not the Diablo 2 base install. At least the European version I have. So it seems to me that after that is when they started doing the multi one, and that was pretty cool. I mean, to have the same version. Blizzard was pretty good about their version, so. Aha, foiled again. Came for the gigahertz, stopped for the, or stayed for the free codes. Oh, that's right. The i810 is the integrated. I don't know why my brain froze on that, because I was thinking of the i740 or whatever, the Intel's Voodoo card. Curse is foiled again. I'm curious to see how this runs, actually, because, I mean, in theory, it should be just fine. It's well within the specs, so. I mean, I knew a lot of people that played all these Blizzard games on Mac. You just needed a powerful enough Mac and you're fine, right? So. Wargasm, like, box, that's a weird thing, so. Oh. Come on, Brett. Are you really just a Creative Labs, like, representative? You're in a safe space here among friends. Did anyone register anything? Because I filled out a lot of the registration things on my big box games when I was a kid. But then I actually never ended up, you know, I never had the guts to actually send them in. I filled out several of them. But never did actually send them in, so. I knew what World of Warcraft was, but I played the beta, because I had played Dark Age of Camelot, loved that game, for all its faults. Played City of Heroes and was waiting for Dark Age of Camelot, or sorry, World of Warcraft to come out, so we played the beta, and then when I came, we just got sucked into it, and, you know, I'm not tired to sit down playing, so I mean, I met my wife and moved to America for playing MMOs. I was playing, you know, Dark Age of Camelot. Whoop! Had to buy the US copy and have it shipped. Because if you want to play on US servers, you had to buy this, so I actually imported this one to play this on back in the day. And I have the poster was on my wall for a long time. It was Midgard, right? Because there was a whole bunch of like Scandinavian and Swedish names in this game, which was so cool. Well, yes, I would like a desktop. No, I don't want to connect to internet and register it electronically. Sorry, Brett, we're not going to register this game either. I'm just wild like that. I guess we'll just play Warcraft 3 and see if it plays. Knock on wood, the stream has held up, because I've had a heck of a time with that. I know we talked about that a lot. What I'm probably going to do this weekend, honestly, is like reload my computer, because I've had freezes and problems now, too. And I think my machine just needs a reload at this point. And I may just take the plunge and install Windows 11 and just kind of get updated across the board, so... yeah, I mean, the story of World of Warcraft continues almost immediately after, right? So... I remember playing Warcraft 3, and I think Diablo 2 is when it started, like, the cinematics were so ridiculous. And then in Warcraft 3 is like, the cinematics are like movie grade, you know, especially for the era. It was just amazing to me. I was blown away. I think that World of Warcraft continues... Okay, they don't hold up as well now. I remember looking at this back then thinking this was like... It looked like a movie. It was like straight out of a movie. I guess it was a while ago now. This is 20 years ago. But yeah, the entire setup in Warcraft 3, where it leaves the story, it leads directly into World of Warcraft. And that's where the story in World of Warcraft starts. Zug zug. We should stream Warcraft 1, too. I haven't played that much. I played the demo. I have the game, but I didn't play that far. Warcraft 2 we have streamed, and that was a fantastic game, of course. Can I borrow some sugar?
We stand now.
Got it. Yo, memories came flooding back now. Alright, what do we got for video here now? 32-bit color might be a little challenging. Let's try 1024 at 16-bit instead. See if that's a good fit. Medium. Alright, I could see that. Boy, yeah, I haven't played this in a long time now, I realize. What a great game. Max it out? Frick. Max power. Oh, yeah. We don't need to do the prologue, but... That's right, the prologue can store. That's fine. Human campaign. Yeah, the entire, like, setup from here, like, the way that the orcs go to a new land and everything is, I mean, directly. Yeah, Ghost was canned and everything. It's a bummer, but... At least from this era of Blizzard games, they were top-notch, like, quality and everything. The big thing I remember when a Blizzard game came out, it was so polished and ready, right? It was just... They rarely released even patches, I remember, right? It was like, you know, 0.01, 0.02 or something like that. But the games were, you know, there was a good experience out of the box. Diablo, Warcraft, StarCraft, all those games were just like... killers. And I thought he said, the Horde is on the moon. This is absurd.
The orcs are not our primary concern here. How many times must I repeat myself?
Yeah. Womp womp. I really hope the deal goes through. I don't think that Microsoft can manage Activision any worse than Activision is managing itself. Like, Phil Spencer has proven to be kind of like a gamer ally. All right, cutscenes. I just want to see how the game runs. How's the Voodoo 5 and the gigahertz handle max settings at 1024? Boy, the memories are flooding back. It feels like this game just came out, right? It did not. It's 20 years old. Warcraft 3 now is 20 years old. I mean, when was the actual release date on this? Probably like 2001, right? Or 2002. This game is over 20 years old. Boy. Frame rate is not terrific, but more than playable.
Welcome, Prince Arthas. The men and I are honored by your
And I'm sure everything will be fine.
Formalities, Uther. I'm not king yet. It's good to see
Oh,
you.
Arthas, you scamp.
You too, lad. I'm pleased that King Terran has sent you to help me.
Father still hopes your patience and experience might rub off on me.
Yeah.
It is a father's right to dream, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look, here's where we stand. Our scouts have confirmed that there is an orc encampment hidden somewhere over the next ridge.
I'm a little surprised they didn't make a,
As I suspected.
they should just make an animated, you know,
It gets
Warcraft
worse.
movie that
They're
deal.
preparing
Oh, there
to
we
attack
go.
the nearby village of Strongbow.
It's got a little struggle there when there's a lot on the
No,
screen.
The village is completely defenseless.
Yeah, there we go. There, the other shoe fell there. Or the other shoe dropped when you saw the extra detail. That's a little tough for the Voodoo 5.
Uther. Don't worry about me.
Good. Meet me
I don't
at
think there's any
Fort
glide
once
setup
you've
in this
saved the
game,
village.
so...
Be careful, Arthas.
Yeah, just do the animated. Do the Arthur story, you know. Travel to Strongbow
Stand for the light. For honor.
for honor. I mean, I
Certainly.
probably would have played it like this, no problem, so...
Of course.
Footman.
Certainly.
I certainly will not betray the king and kill him later. Absolutely not.
Certainly. For honor.
Hello.
A sound plan. For honor. A sound
I feel the view is very zoomed in. I don't have a mouse wheel,
Help!
so...
Bandits are stealing our belongings.
Yeah? When you get this perspective here, like, I think that when the camera panned down, you see a lot more.
Certainly.
Certainly.
Of course.
Those bandits.
It was a big deal because you had quests and things like that to do in the game besides just building stuff, so...
Retrieve it from their camp. It would mean so much to us.
For honor.
Really? Wow.
Certainly. Of course.
Of course. Yeah, I kind of want to go back to playing WoW Classic now, but we did play that for a little bit, but it's just not the same thing. It's like, yeah, the technology and the game and all that stuff from Classic, but...
For my father, the king.
Thank you for specifying your king. That's like saying my dad owns a dealership.
Justice has come.
For my father, king.
Feel my wrath. A sound plan.
Heal up.
Justice shall be done.
I believe, someone correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the entire WoW game engine is based on the Warcraft 3 engine. Like, it may not look it, but, I mean, that's where the origins are. That's where it comes from.
Say your prayers. Is there danger? A sound plan. Foul knave. I'm here to help. For honor.
Heal up.
Is there danger?
They're danger? Yeah, they're kind of hitting us right now, dude.
For my father, the king.
For my father, the king.
Justice has come.
Say the word.
Ah, run away!
What do you need?
Is there
Aha.
danger? Of course.
Can you heal this guy now? There you go.
Certainly.
Certainly.
I stand for the light.
Can we attack that? Force attack
For
it?
my father, the king.
Break that tent.
Betrayer of the light.
Yeah, I believe, you can play Classic, so there's that part. That is still pretty fun.
Knave.
A while back, we played Classic, and it was fun to, like, roll the same character I did back in the day and play from scratch, you know? Yeah, that's the thing. I think that the FTC did put another appeal in, but I'm not sure if that's going to be... I think the judge already declined the first part of that, so I think that Activision has already been delisted from NASDAQ, I believe, so, I mean, it's coming here soon. Now, I wonder how this game runs when you have a lot of units on screen, but right now it's fine. You could also set the settings to medium, but I mean, it's perfectly playable. Yeah, I think Dota came from a mod, right? Defense of the Ancients was a mod for Warcraft 3 that became its own thing, and it got so popular. So yeah, I think that the deal now for the purchase is going to be very soon.
The attack has already begun. To arms, my brothers! Strength. I stand for the light. Certainly. I'm here to help.
Hit the guy until he dies. Yeah. Feeling the WoW itch now. Oh, he's gonna die. Sorry, dude. I think that, considering how toxic the leadership at Activision is, kind of like the good old boys club, just my own opinion. Hey.
Of course.
I think it's a good thing, personally, but I don't know. Phil Spencer also, I mean, kind of like selfishly, I mean, he's a big Hexen fan. Like, you probably saw him wearing a Hexen shirt at the presentation not too long ago. I mean, he wants to look at their back catalog and bring back games, so I'm selfish from that perspective. So Activision's just going to keep pumping out Call of Duty, but, you know, if they can get like a Night Dev Studio remaster or remake or something of Hexen and stuff like that, it's like, he is interested in going back to the back catalog and looking. So, I think of everyone purchasing them, I think that it's a worth Bob's Guns. I think it's a fine choice.
Certainly. A sound plan.
Because it's like, you know, it's Xbox buying them, basically. Yeah, there's that part. I mean, you don't want to have consolidation of all these companies like that, but it's hard to make that work, though, because there's a lot of small studios that are, you know, there's a lot of indie games, right, that are really popular and good, but it's hard to make that work, so... and especially the way Sony's trying to market this or push it and whatever, it just... Yeah.
A sound plan. Of course. Certainly. For honor.
Certainly.
Certainly. Of course. Certainly.
It is funny, out in my mind, like, again, this looked so good and everything, and now you play it and it's like, yeah, I mean, it's good looking, don't get me wrong, but it's like, it looked a lot better in my mind, thinking back to it. And then, of course, this got a remaster that was pretty lukewarm. I never even played it, but I heard it was a lot of, you know, not great reviews of that one, so.
Certainly.
Certainly.
Of course. Justice has come.
I think the biggest thing with this, and just playing this, is like, boy, it's sort of like, quote-unquote sluggish and like, you know, a little slow.
For honor.
Units can take a lot of hits.
You are past redemption. Of course. Betrayal.
You love my dudes here. Oh, nice. That's awesome. That's a great way to start the WoW travels, but it was so streamlined from a MMO perspective. Like when it came out, it was such a breath of fresh air. Having played other MMOs like Darkest Camelot, it was very obtuse, difficult to play, and often like the things that made you take a long time in the game were just kind of silly and just poor design. Defeat Slave Master. Ah, Warcraft 3.
But what about the others who were taken away?
Don't worry, son. We'll find them and bring them home safe.
Yeah, Arthas, you're a nice guy. Yeah, it is colorful, and that's something that was lost, I think, a lot.
Needs you at the Orc encampment immediately.
Wow.
A dull moment. Let's get moving.
Oh my goodness, I've heard a lot of the Galaxy was really good, but also, you know, very grindy, or like, you know, it's certain style to it. But just the fact that WoW, it set the trend for MMOs going forward. It was so streamlined. And the questing structure in Dark Age of Camelot, you didn't have any quests. You just went out and just killed mobs for hours and hours, and you found a better spot to kill the mobs. There was no quest when the game came out. When I played it, that didn't come until later, when there were like kill quests, where you basically went to a person, typed a command, and asked like, hey, give me something to kill. And I said like, kill 10 orcs or whatever, and you went out and did that. But otherwise, you just ran out and did that, so. Oh yeah, no doubt. Warcraft 3 is still a good game. It's well worth playing. Especially if you played World of Warcraft and aren't familiar with the story from Warcraft 3, and you like RTSs, then it's definitely worth playing, because it ties all of it together. Like where this game ends is where World of Warcraft begins, right? That's was the direct sequel from a story perspective. Then it went off the rails, because now you look at World of Warcraft, it's like, how many times have these characters saved the world, and like how many? Yeah, it doesn't even count anymore. Oh, this game looked so much better in my mind. I mean, it's still charming as hell, but I always feel like Warcraft 3 is like a modern game. But it's called a retro at this point now.
We are paladins. Vengeance cannot be a part of what we must do.
Yeah, it was a lot, so...
To turn to bloodlust, and we will be
yeah, I played, you know, I had a subscription running for a long time there as a student and stuff like that, and that was kind of the thing that, you know, I enjoyed MMOs a lot. I played PlanetSide, I played Dark Age of Camelot, I played Ultima Online before that, I played Earth and Beyond a little bit, I played City of Heroes, I'm trying to remember what else now. But yeah. Wasn't this like the first game that was an RTS like this?
The light is my strength.
The light is my strength. I am a geek.
I'm here to help.
Yeah, I kind of want to like sit down and play Warcraft 3 now. It's, my goodness, that's so long. Yeah, we should upgrade these things.
Ready to work.
Ready to work.
Off I go then.
Off I go then.
Righto.
Righto.
I stand for the light.
Please.
Certainly.
Betrayer of the light. You are past redemption.
Yeah, those boxes are past redemption.
What?
Money.
The light is my strength.
Was this the first RTS that used hero units in this fashion? Yeah, this would probably be better on an XP machine. I mean, that's definitely the era that would be more appropriate, so. Get some more monies.
Upgrade complete.
Ready to work.
Grade complete.
Yes, me lord.
And you think about Warcraft 2, which is really good, but then, like, what a difference this was here. Crazy, like, how far it got, so. That's right, it did have heroes in the campaign. Oh.
Justice shall be done. The light is my strength.
I'm invulnerable now. I think I wrecked my tower. Oh, my tower. I gotta get barracks up so we can get some foot soldiers out to protect our area. Off I go then.
Shall be done.
We shall avenge you, tower. Yeah, because I mean, in Warcraft 3, from what we've seen so far, runs just dandy. The best experience? Maybe not, but certainly more than playable. Yeah, Age of Empires is fantastic too, but I've forgotten that it had heroes too, but to me, this kind of was the modern, or like when almost like this is now a template for RTSs with smaller unit groups and that kind of stuff. So
Yes, my lord.
yeah. One game that I don't see mentioned often is the Cossacks RTS series as well. Not base building, but huge amount of units on screen. Just tons and tons. To the point where it's almost ridiculous.
Yes, my lord.
Yes, my lord. Can I not build archers yet? No. I can get some more monies.
Go then.
Upgrade complete.
Upgrade complete.
Job's done. What?
Ready for action. Orders.
Come on, don't break my tower already.
Yes, my lord.
Whoa. Freaking like catnip to these guys.
Is there danger?
Yes, there's danger.
More work.
Ah, yes. Yeah, and that's the thing. And it is very Eastern European style too, but it was a really,
I'm here to help.
really impressive game.
For honor.
Because there was so much detail. For those unfamiliar with Cossacks, is that it was like, you know, the early gunpowder era. And you basically had, I don't know, early maybe, but there's, you know, muskets and that kind of stuff. And just huge amount of units on screen, like 2D units, I think. And the cannonballs would fly through the ranks and just people fly everywhere. And it was very impressive visually, what they crammed in, I feel at least.
Build more farms.
Build more farms. Alright, we'll build some more farms.
Upgrade complete. What? What is it?
What is it? Of course, now we're just going to start playing Warcraft 3 here, which, I mean, it's not... But this is definitely the later era for this one, so... Castle Strike? I can't say that rings a bell. What kind of game was it? I mean, is it still like a similar RTS? I'm a sucker for RTS of this era. I think we mentioned before how much I love isometric viewpoints, and I always want to keep collecting RTSs. I played most of the mainline ones, but not a lot of the side ones, so... This is... I forgot how nostalgic this was. I spent a lot of time playing Warcraft 3. I kind of want to play through the campaign again. Maybe we should actually stream this properly at some point. Job's done.
What?
What?
All right.
Let's put another tower in here so we can... Freaking annoying douches coming here to attack my stuff.
More work.
Yeah, I don't know if you can zoom in or out here. Well, I don't have a mouse wheel, unfortunately, so...
Righto.
Righto. Yeah, it is very close, and that's the thing too. I like with the 2D pixel art ones, usually tend to be further out, and this was just so close, and I think it was trying to get that kind of like, you know, you're with the hero unit, you're up close.
The light, strength.
Betrayer of the light. Ready for action.
Job's done. What?
Whoop, 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 whoop.
More work.
Yes, more work.
Our forces are under attack.
Yeah, I think it's more about zooming out, right? It feels very tight.
What is it?
What is it? I'll try and plus and minus. Menu, let's see, options. It's actually not showing that here. I guess I can look in the manual since I have the box. Plus and minus did not do anything, unfortunately. Let's see, single button, no. Getting started Macintosh. If you encounter slow or choppy gameplay, several game options can be adjusted to improve performance. That's fine. We have 1 gigahertz and we have Voodoo 5. We don't need to adjust our performance. We have all the performance.
What? I'm here to help. For honor.
Say the word.
Oh, on.
What do you need? On my way.
What is it?
What is it? Never gets old.
Yes, me lord.
It's like, it always feels like the characterization in Warcraft 3, and it's got, you know, yeah, it's like someone mentioned earlier, it's got nice colors. It has, and then Home are not doing anything, no.
Ready for action.
Sometimes there's stuff that they add in patches, right? This is the base release version of the game. We found that in Warcraft 2 as well. You can't do, like, group selecting, you know. Oh, there we go.
Upgrade complete.
Page up and page down. Home and end does nothing. However, this does a temporary one for insert and delete. Page up. There we go. It zooms down like this.
Job's done.
This is... There we go. That's as far as we can get, yeah. The cinema.
I stand for the light.
Look at that 3D model. Yeah, I think I would have played this happily, so... yeah, that's the thing, too, is like I know that some people have messed with that, and I like to do that a little bit, too, is to take a G4 Mac with an equivalent, like you can take an, you know, Rage 120 Pro or like a 9700 or something like that, and then run that against a equivalent like Pentium II or Pentium III of the era with a similar video card. And I think in general, I could be very simplifying now, in general, the Mac will always be a little slower in a parity, 1-to-1, like, you know, when you're on Unreal and Quake and all that stuff. To my knowledge. I could be wrong there, but it's just the games were optimized on Windows, so...
The light is my strength. Of course. I'm here to help.
That's the thing, like, how much attention were they given, you know? Blizzard might be the exception, of course. Blizzard being, you know, really good at their porting jobs.
Of course. What?
What?
Right.
All right.
Yes, me lord.
We have established a base. The base has been dropped. Well, that was a long loading time there to get the next objective.
Paladin fool! The warlocks of the Black Rock clan have spoken. Soon, demons will rain from the sky, and this wretched world...
I like that they did, like, the orcs are not just unequivocal bad guys.
Orcs will never learn. It was only a mirror image. Damn it. What are these curs up to?
Come on and fight. Yeah, Thief 2 was probably in this era, because you have Deus Ex, which I also have here now. We could try that. That would also be pushing it. But I feel like that's also not, like, you know, what this machine would have been for, even though it was the same year, but... I recognize that death sound.
Slay them all. Say the word.
That's right, so that's a 2000 game then. Thief 2, you have System Shock 2, Deus Ex. Deus Ex was 2000 as well, right? So, kind of lumped those together there.
What is it?
What is it? We need more footmen here now.
Ready for action. Say the word. Right.
Right. Yeah, most games probably weren't ported in-house. I mean, some were, but I know there's sometimes people have, or companies have taken on and, like, actually done the work in-house, but I think in most cases they're not done in-house, so... Which makes sense, but... Because, I mean, you look at, like, even the Diablo 1 expansion Hellfire, that I thought was completely unrelated to Blizzard as far as, like, that goes. It wasn't made by Blizzard or anything. It was just, you know, published by them, part of their expansion, so...
Orders, say the word.
Orders, say the word. I just feel like I need a little more foot soldiers. Couple more.
Justice shall be done.
Can I group here?
I'm here to help.
Yeah, there we go. Did I just add the tower to that? Yeah, sure did. There we go. Another level up now.
Ready for action.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not really knowledgeable at all on who was doing porting jobs back then.
What do you need?
Well, there was a lot of variants, I think. Some were, you know, well-known, or some were being done by the same studio, and some were not. So, I'm a little amazed how well the stream held up here.
Ready for action.
All right, well, I'll take it, I guess. Tonight, for once, I have a nice stream, so... yeah, that's right. There's a lot of good action RPGs like that, too.
Justice shall
I was
be done.
playing, Victor Ranif? No, the Grim Dawn, yeah, I think so. I got it cheap, and I started playing it, and then
Of course.
forgot to play it. It's like many games.
For honor.
Just buy a lot of games, and...
Well met, good human. Have you come to join in our hunt?
What are you dwarves hunting in this region?
Dragons.
We're hunting black drakes. It's said the drake's blood can bestow fiery enchantments upon weapons.
The fiery enchantments you seek could prove useful.
The name of the beast we're hunting is Cyranox. With your aid, the monster won't stand a chance.
The light is my strength.
Oh, yeah.
Sound.
Let's go hunting. That's right, I have too many units now.
Justice shall be
Yes,
done.
my liege.
The light is my strength.
Say the word.
Maxsoft, yeah, that's right.
I'm here to help.
Yeah, there's just so many games now, especially as they're cheap now on the sales. And I bought, like, you know, Homeworld Desert of Karak. I never played that, so I got that. I did buy Black Mesa. I was playing that and enjoying myself. So,
I stand for the light.
there's just so many games now, especially you can get them pretty cheap. So,
Yes, my liege.
Is there danger? I'm here to help. Certainly.
Orders.
Is there danger? For honor.
well, there's dragons and stuff. So, yeah, here be dragons.
A sound plan.
Shoot them down.
For honor.
Woo.
Research complete.
Let's upgrade our guns.
I'm here to help. Certainly. A sound
Heal that dude. A Lego mod? That's right, that's awesome.
Of course.
Orders.
There's a lot of porting houses. I mean, they focused on it right,
For
but...
honor.
You dare challenge me? You mortals become more reckless with every generation.
Yeah, but we're gonna kill you now, so, you know.
I stand for the light.
Splat. Hoo, ah, ah.
Yes, my liege.
Is there danger? A sound plan.
Trying to heal you, but...
For honor. Let's bring this heart back to the dwarves.
Ooh.
For honor.
It's funny, because these icons are used in World of Warcraft too.
A sound
Now,
plan.
let's see. How good was the pathfinding?
I'm here to help.
How good was the pathfinding? Let's find out. You never know. And something you forget when you're playing older RTS is as soon as you
Complete.
try and do anything like outside of the norm, the engine just like kind of dies. So, Leroy Jenkins. At least I got chicken. I thought it was so funny when that came out. So, yeah, nice. Yeah, the G4 is actually surprisingly fun. I've streamed on that before, but it's still that late 90s kind of, you know, computer gaming era, right? Where there's so many things that are really fun. And that G4 era is probably my favorite of Max, too, because, again, it's so close to the late 90s for PC gaming, right?
For honor. Of course.
Get your heart.
Now I will reforge your weapons to strike with searing heat.
I like that you kind of upgrade your units, and one of the things I really liked the campaign in StarCraft 2, for example, was just like how you're upgrading your units and get to pick how they do it. So, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. To CNC had this awful pathfinding there, and the units were like ganging up on themselves when they're trying to move and stuff. It just never worked very well.
Stand for the
Yes,
light.
my liege.
Yes, my liege. Whoa. Hi.
Our town is under siege.
On my way.
Research complete.
More work. Yes, my lord.
Say the word.
Frickin'
Attack!
don't die. I actually had a blue Mac G3, but actually ended up basically selling it or getting rid of it, so.
For the light.
What do you need?
And it was kind of like a someone locally wanted it, and I had a G4 already, so I was trying to decide what to keep because I was keeping too much stuff, so I had to kind of make a choice. So I think the aura is always on, isn't it? For this guy, anyway. Yeah, the aura is at least until you get multiple auras, but
I stand for the light.
that's right. Now he has that. Adds 12 bonus fire damage. That's a lot.
Build more farms.
I am building more farms. Oh, that's right. I picked up a lot of units. I need a lot more farms. What is it? Yeah, I would say I would like the G3 desktop or tower. There's someone actually locally who has recapped and selling one, but I'm picking up something else tomorrow, so I can't grab more stuff. But I will wreck stuff in this mission and probably call it on this game and play something else here first. But is Warcraft 3 kind of get sucked in now, and the Voodoo 5 and the gigahertz is handling it just fine, obviously. This would have been plenty fine to play this way with max settings. I think I would have been more than happy. I don't think that it feels like sluggish. Maybe if you change it directly to lower settings and have it run smooth, you'll notice it, but right now...
Job's done.
What?
Alright. So now things get more expensive. That might be a stretch. But yeah, I think my favorite's still the G4 or whatever, because it just, again, it fits that like kind of like, you know, late 90s thing with the same way these machines are. You know, the 90, 97 to 2000 era. Locked and loaded. I think just trying Deus Ex will be enough for it to suffer, probably.
Job's done.
That game is kind of like rough to run for the era.
What is it?
What is it? I'm building lots of
Off I go,
farms.
then.
Justice shall be done.
Say the word. Right.
Right. Yeah, I would imagine Far Cry is going to be a a Far Cry to run. I'm not sure that's going to work at all. So, yeah, it is something special with the looking at the Mac Classic or the Mac OS Classic or whatever. So,
Orders.
orders.
Job's done. More work.
Yes, more work.
Righto.
Can't queue commands to build either, which is kind of annoying. Still researching this? It takes a long time. Oh my goodness, yeah.
Complete.
So many memories playing this here.
Locked and loaded.
Locked and loaded.
You have a target?
A target?
Okay.
I usually play dwarves in World of Warcraft just because the way they talk is so great. Locked and loaded. A few more units, then we'll go out and wreck stuff. It's easy in the beginning. You don't have to worry about any spells or like siege equipment or anything like that. So, job's done.
Yes, me lord.
Locked and loaded.
Locked and loaded.
Off I go then.
I'm your shooter. Yes, my liege. You have a target? Aye, sir. What do you need?
Forces are under attack.
For honor.
Feel my wrath. Justice has come.
Certainly. For honor.
Don't die.
You are past redemption.
For my father, the king.
For my father, the king.
Betrayer of the light. Locked and loaded.
A sound plan.
You have a target? What do you need? Aye, my lord. I'm your
Job's
shooter.
done.
All right, we'll do one more, and then we'll go out and wreck stuff.
What?
What?
All right.
All right.
What do you need? Orders?
I almost want to play World of Warcraft now. Yeah, I didn't really buy Apple products back then. It's just fun to revisit it because I didn't really... I had friends who had them, especially the iMac, and I know one friend who played like all of Diablo 2 on it and stuff like that. And that was their main computer for the family. So that was my exposure to it, really. We only had PCs. And so it's fun to go visit it now because, like, especially Mac OS Classic or Mac OS 9 or whatever, or older, is... I don't know. It's fun to see the other side of it, if you will. Start cranking on units, assuming that we're gonna maybe lose some in combat here.
What do you need?
What is it?
I'm here to help.
I always find it a little bit hectic to manage games where you're not allowed to use, like, all select. You have to, like,
The light is my
What do you
strength.
need?
do multi-groups.
I'm here to help.
Orders?
Justice shall be done.
Ready for action. You are past the say the word.
There we go.
I'm here to help.
Like, the units can take
More
quite a bit of a
word?
beating, so...
Yes, me
I
lord.
stand for the light.
What do you need?
The light is my strength.
Orders?
Mm-hmm.
Justice shall be done. For honor.
Yes, my liege.
But I feel we should definitely play maybe something more fitting to this combo here soon,
I'm here to help.
before we call it, because I'm trying to think of what. It would be nice to do quick too. I'm not sure what heck doesn't work there, but
Is there danger? A sound plan.
Betrayer of the light.
there we go.
You are
Yes,
past
my liege.
Job's done.
Betrayer of the light.
What is it?
The light is my strength.
What do you
Certainly.
need?
We're here.
I stand for the light. A
Goodness,
sound
yeah.
plan.
You never know because,
Certainly.
you know, some companies like spending a lot of stuff.
The light is my strength.
Yes, my liege.
Is there danger?
Say the word.
Certainly.
Well, that was easy. I got built more units than I needed here.
You've done well, lad. This was a sound victory.
I don't know, Uther. The orcs were sacrificing townsfolk. I think
Don't worry about it. Arthas is a nice boy. I'm sure he won't do anything reckless later on in the story.
Orcs are trying to hold on to dying
Another thing, I don't understand why...
Defeated their demons
And here,
long
to be fair, I have not watched the actual Warcraft movie. I feel I should at some point. But why they didn't just do an animated movie with a focus on the Arthas story? Just retell that. And heck, put, you know, Henry Cavill as Arthas or something. I think he would just nail that role, so... Alright. That's enough for Warcraft, I think. We played Warcraft a long time here now, so we will finish out a stream with something else once I save here, but I would have played the game just fine like this. I think the Voodoo 5 and the gigahertz is handling this just fine, no problem. Yeah. He's such a intense character actor, and I mean, he just gets into it. And I think he would be fantastic as Arthas, really. That kind of...
You must be wiser than the king. The end is near.
The prophet.
Told you before. I'm not interested in this nonsense.
Then I've
There's
wasted
Dalaran. There's a lot of stuff happening to Dalaran later on in the story here, which explains why Dalaran is not there in the
It's your inquisitive nature that I've come to
in the beginning of
rely
World of Warcraft. So
That crazed fool's convinced that the world is about to end.
okay, story. I think that Henry Cavill's been asked to basically lead up kind of like a series and movies and stuff for Warhammer, right? Yeah, exactly. I think he's basically been asked to be like the kind of the creative lead for a lot of that, and I could be wrong there, but like to kind of establish a universe of movies and series.
I'm sure.
Okay, there we go. All right. Yeah, he's got all the spells that the wizard has in World of Warcraft. So the mage, sorry. So I got 1 gigahertz, but it ran fine. I mean, there was no problem there. We played some Warcraft 3. That's a bummer. Quake 2 doesn't run. I'm not sure why, but we stressed the system quite a bit here now. So maybe we should just do. Well, let's see. How does Half-Life run with Direct or with Glide? Of course, it's way past in performance here, but we should be able to do pretty just whatever the heck we want. Let's see. 3DFX mini driver. 1000 should be no problem. Do I have a save file here? Yes, I do. I think that I'm not going to mess it around too much. I just want to see how it runs. With Glide, the settings should be no problem here. Yeah, oh yeah. Got a little bit of jittering. Yeah, we go 1280. Let's see how my capture handles that, because I'm not set up for that here, but let's try it. Oh yeah, I think I've seen that before too. Yeah, the gamma is really high on this one, isn't it? I feel like something with Glide games, and I've seen this happen before too. I don't think this is the Game of the Year edition. I don't remember, but let's see what it does here now, because the capture might be a little wonky. It's crashed. Oh, never mind. It's here. Yeah, it crashed. It could not handle 1280 by 960. You know, 1.1.1.0. See, the theory there is the gigahertz ran so fast, it just kind of blew past it, right? Can we do 1152? Nope. Wow. I don't think it likes anything above 1024 unless it has problems initializing the mini 3DFX driver. We can try OpenGL or standard OpenGL or Direct 3D. It might be having trouble initializing the Glide here. There we go. Yeah, it was fine here, so look at that LOD there on the floor. Like blurry. What I need to do is get through and like save. You know. It's always what happens that I get these games, or especially Half-Life, and you just play the beginning over and over as you're testing it. Playing Black Mesa like 2 days ago now, quite a difference, so. I have not. Have you noticed that my Twitter avatar is Gordon Freeman? Literally. So. I can pull it off a little bit, I guess.
Hey, Mr. Freeman. bunch of messages for you, but we had a system crash about 20 minutes ago. And hey, stop!
Whee! Gordon Freeman is a jackass.
Gordon? You trying to...
Not the smoothest here, so... yeah, I use Twitter every day. Still, I'm hooked to it, but the, I took the, Half-Life 2 Gordon Freeman and just put basically in, cut my face in there when I got newer glasses that were more square, so... hazard suit. A little been playing Black Mesa now, and the difference is stark, but yeah, I don't think we're going to play that long here, because everyone has seen this 100 million times. But it's got a weird, like... There's G-Man. It's not very smooth. It's got a weird juddering going on.
You got the wrong airlock, Mr. Freeman. You know I can't let you.
What a tour de force of storytelling this game was.
That's odd.
It might be, I'm not sure. I think that in general it should be fine. There is one way to test that, actually. We can actually disable one of them. Let's try it. We're going to save. And it might be my driver setup or something. But we can actually disable one of the chips to basically bring it down to be a Voodoo 4. Single chip only. Apply. We're now running in single chip mode. So, I don't think there's any difference here, but yeah, it's doing the same thing. Really weird juddering, and I'm sure there's a setting somewhere that could help, but... What if we go the other way instead? Clearly that didn't make a difference, but if we go to the other one and go to anti-aliasing and see how it looks like, because that's of course where the power is... I can try it. Fine. We'll do it the right way then. Let's try this and see if there's any difference, and then we can go to the other way and go full anti-aliasing and see how it looks like. No, still doing the same juddering. Maybe a VSync thing, because I have VSync off now. Doesn't look to be any difference, so... Let's see if I can do this without restarting. Let's go with the full anti-aliasing setting here. And that's a little fun to mess with, so... that's Direct 3D. Oops, I forgot to do this. Sorry, it was OpenGL Glide. I'm very smart. Let's see if there's any difference here now. We'll restart it again if we have to, but... No difference, but we'll restart it again. I was messing with Direct 3D settings and not OpenGL and Glide. So let's try this here now. I wonder, we should try as well. How does the gigahertz handle software mode on this one? It'll be fun to see what it looks like. Alright, single chip mode. Still the same juddering here. I like to live dangerously. I alt-tabbed all the time when I was younger too, and it was just like, you know, you're tempting fate doing that at this level, so... Alright, well if we go to full anti-aliasing and see what the game looks like now. Right. Again, I'm gonna have to restart, so... That's what we're here for, is just testing stuff randomly. So we have full anti-aliasing on there now. Maybe we should enable VSync. Just to get that out of the way. We also have GL Quake. That probably runs pretty well when you have the full setting now with the full anti-aliasing on. I would think we should see... You need me, Bunky? I have to have it sometimes. Like, when tearing gets really bad, that does get to me, so I do run with VSync on. It's a little smoother, but you can see the V-Sync is like almost like hiding the juddering, but it looks a lot smoother in the the anti-aliasing is working, because you can see the lab coat there. The corners or whatever, the crease and everything is definitely smoother on the edges. So this is full screen anti-aliasing. And this would be a good example of doing this, because that juddering, I would probably mess around. But you can see like the whole picture is softer, a little more pleasing. That's kind of one of the things with the Voodoo 5 that it can do is full screen anti-aliasing, right? So, but yeah, that juddering is weird. I would probably mess with settings to figure that out, but whatever, it's Half-Life. Let's try software mode. We can direct 3D as well. Come on. They might not have the juddering, and that's the thing too, that's, you know, the card is of course handling this just fine, so it's a good option to do that. To have all of them available. It's like the Glide is not always the best one, I mean, depending on the card, so. Did we leave the single card mode now? We might have on. I'm gonna alt-tab again. I can't. I gotta quit out of here. Direct 3D won't let me alt-tab. I have the full on here. We can do fast performance and go back. So you want to try a higher resolution? So the way it works when I'm capturing this, we'll see what happens. What I'm doing when I'm capturing is I'm basically doing a 200% scale when I'm capturing it from data path, and then I'm jamming it into OBS. So if I go really high, it's probably going to be a little wonky, but we can try it. Why not? I just have to change the scale. There we go. I set the scale back to be 100%, so. Can it handle it? 1280 by 960. Yep. Got the bar so I can fix that if we need to, but yeah. There you go. IRES. Really? So there's a port for that one. That's pretty cool. Well, I think I'd try that, actually. One thing that exists on the Xbox is a port of Quake, and that's really cool. Can we do 1024 by 768 software mode? This looks pretty cool. The colors are really crisp and clean. Scale it up a little bit there. Boy. Yeah, I think I loaded it. It's got a super charm to it. We need to do a stream with just software rendered games. Oh. I think yep, I'm stuck. I was right in the clipping plane as the game transitioned. Yeah. It's not super smooth, but it's still not stuttering. But I am literally stuck. So, you know. Whee! It's really charming, the style. We'll look at it from afar, but software mode is pretty neat, I agree. Especially on a more powerful machine, because yeah, that's what the power of the gigahertz does for you. So yeah, we'll do a specific stream with software render games at some point, and you guys can start throwing ideas to me. But let's run the original Quake with the full 4-sample anti-aliasing. GL Quake should do quite well here, and then it looks quite pleasing here. I think this is where it works quite well. I mean, here's Quake. We're running 800 by 600 with 3D effects or OpenGL, but I think it works quite well here. Although I'm a fan to turn off. You can turn off the filtering actually through settings in Quake. I can't remember the settings now because it's kind of like command line. But you can still use the 3D acceleration and turn off the texture blending. And then it actually looks pretty cool because you get the same performance that you get from like for Voodoo 1, but you still get the software look, which is a pretty neat thing to do. Because I mean, even a Pentium 160 or 200 something is not going to be able to run Quake very fast in software mode. I think this full screen anti-aliasing here looks really good. So, although it's something with the glide, you always get a little bit washed out colors. Maybe just my settings or something, but it feels like it's always a little washed out with glide. It's not as colorful. Still a little bit of a stutter, but I think that's just how Quake the engine runs. Yeah, nice. Whoa, we have a little texture difficulties here with that filtering there. Wow. Flat. But I think this is where having that full screen anti-aliasing really pays off when you're playing the older games and you have enough horsepower to do this, and that's where the Voodoo 5 is really neat for what it does. So that's the thing with OpenGL, right? It was never officially supported, right? So you are dead. But this, of course, would be like, you know, you're basically in the early now of Voodoo, right? Or early. Early glide games. Because, man, this will run happily on a Voodoo 1. So we're way overpowered now for what this is. Way to do. So that brings you all the way back here. Yeah. I played on my P100 until I got the Voodoo 1 card, and it was the first game I played with acceleration. And I remember watching it, and it's like, this is incredible. Like, I remember just staring at, like, you can't even see the jaggies. Or, whoops. I am great at jumping. The pixel lines, right? It was just something else entirely. Yeah, and I can't say that this machine is, you know, flawlessly set up. I have messed with it a lot, and it probably could use a clean reinstall, right? Because who knows what I mess with as far as, like, the drivers and... Well, I am just tickled that the stream held up all the way through today. That's an achievement in itself, because I have had a lot of problems with keeping that going, so... Yep, you can run this on a 486. There's a challenge, right, for that, so... Alright, what's one more thing we should check out on the... Because we can try and push it a little bit, see if the games I do have installed here. Got quite a few. Does anyone see anything that you want to see real quick? Quake 2, perhaps? Because, yes, Far Cry will be fun, but I don't think I'm going to install something new right now. We do have Deus Ex. That will be pushing it. And do Sin? We can do Sin. I think I have that as an ISO here, so... I'll start installing that unless someone else has a different idea, so... We did nerf on the Savage. Install Sin. This should run great. I mean, this runs fantastic on like no, we want full power. This runs great on a Voodoo 3, right? So yeah, that was the Savage 4 stream. And the only reason we played that Nerf game is because it supports metal natively, because it's an Unreal Tournament-based game. It was surprisingly fun. Plays very much like Unreal Tournament, but except kid-friendly, but it does support metal out of the box. It's very metal. And that's what the Savage 4 uses, so... But yeah, I mean, Sin, the engine is Quake 2, straight up, I think, that they just mess with. But yeah, this 3D artwork is pretty fantastic. Like, I think it's so stereotypical straight through. Like, 90s extreme, you know? And like, they really felt like, oh man, she's just so hot, we're going to render her all these ways, and it's just, yeah, it doesn't really hold up. Yeah. Nice. Because there was someone ported, there's a specific version of Quake that removes the FPU requirements that allows it to run, so. Pretty sure the Sin is based on the Quake 2 engine. I could be wrong there, but I'm fairly certain this is Quake 2. When you start playing it, you kind of see... what's going on, so... We did stream this a long time ago on the P3 450 with the Voodoo 3, which is a perfect match. So going to start. There you go. Unfortunately, there we go. I was worried it was going to use the same 3D effects thing that was causing problems earlier, which is... Whoa, that's loud. Blade! Oh yeah, he's the cool guy. Modify your audio, video controls. We're in a high-end system. Let's see, can we do 1024? Does it like that? Oh yeah, and I remember too, this also gets like pretty washed out pretty quickly. Can we turn down brightness a little bit? Ah, what the 640 by 480? Huh. There we go. I guess it doesn't like higher. Turn on the brightness a little bit. That looks a little better. I don't know why with the glide, and it could just be me, that it just feels very washed out. This should have no problem running again, because, I mean, we do have the anti-aliasing setting now to max, too, so there's that part. Starting mission. So it may run a little choppy from that, I guess, but... I did like, well,
Freeport City Bank was just taken over. Robbery in progress.
damn.
How many there are?
There's an
I'm
undisclosed
so
number of
90s.
assailants with hostages.
Anachronox is a really fascinating game, too. With the whole, like, almost JRPG style role-playing game built in the Quake 2 engine.
Good work. What's the word from our team in that sector?
It's not good, boss. We've lost contact and suspect that they've been cut off,
Yeah.
or worse.
All available HC units. Hostiles are armed and extremely dangerous. Approach
Quake 2, you say?
force.
Yeah. I really should play through this at some point. I've played the beginning so many times.
Roger that.
Never got that far.
You got it. Okay, Chief. Let's punch it.
Yeah. He's just filled with the power of the gigahertz. Yeah, it's like they had like a freaking 90s committee here of like the scrawny nerd who does the computer stuff, the cool Blade character, and then yeah, the Alexis, the evil villain. We'll do this a little bit. I realize we've been playing for quite a while now. I did like this opening. Pretty clever.
Hey, that was a good shot.
That's nothing compared with last week. I shot this cop in the head. He never even saw it coming.
Yeah, those
Maniacal laugh.
Hey, what's that sound?
Now you get to start.
Surprise.
I don't have a mouse look on here. I can't do controls. What the heck? I couldn't move the mouse up and down. You have to enable it? I'm gonna turn it down just a smidge there. Quite loud. Guess I made it too dark because I can't see now.
Remember, boss, civilians are not Swiss cheese. Keep the non-hostile body count down.
Approaching bank on Victor Alpha 9er. Hostile forces firing at 3 o'clock, sir. Nice shooting, sir.
And I like the fact that in this game here, you kind of like, you know, it's got like a real world setting and all this stuff, and it's far cry from Quake 2 and the military bases and whatnot, you know.
Blade, try for a rooftop landing at the
This is a ViewSonic PS790, so I think that the max refresh rate is probably in the upper over 100 if you go into lower resolution. It is a 19-inch, so... But yeah, I don't think we're going to play this too long because I realize how late it is now, but we will mess with it a little bit here. But yeah, the stream held up, so thanks for staying the whole time. Hopefully your mental health improves. Solar, it's always important to take care of yourself, so... Yeah, that's true. And the fact that it had like a real-world setting was a big deal, I felt anyway, because it felt more real. There were so many military and industrial 3D shooters. It just got kind of boring. And I guess that's also why Far Cry was like so like, you know, huge deal when it came out too. And like this open jungle vistas and everything. Correct. 800 by 600 right now. Welcome Rico Raccoon. In 3DFX Glide with our Voodoo 5 and 1 gigahertz computer. But unfortunately, we couldn't crank it higher. It didn't like the glide setting in a higher, but... we're just going to load into this game here. I'm probably call it there, but I'm still waiting for it to load. Sorry, you're arriving right at the ending there, Rico, but we're going to wrap it up here. It's been a long night here now, but... Boy, the loading is brutal here. But we are also running the monitor's maximum resolution is 1600 by 1200, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I do have Trespasser on here. And that Trespasser is... Trespasser, we should stream that dedicated because I want to play that. I want to give that game a fair shake and see how far we get because it is just so hilarious and silly. With the floppy arm and picking up the guns and all that stuff. I may have to have a guest on for that one.
Clear the bank out, boss. We need to end this.
So why is the mouse look not on by default? That's ridiculous. Where's the free look? There it is. What was that not on? Yeah, I stream every Thursday at 8:45 p.m. If I can help it. But yeah, that's my general thing. Thursday, 8:45 p.m. Central. Kind of my jam, and I've been doing for a long time here. And kind of do a full retro randomness each time. Usually, like, I play like an individual... Oops, someone's shooting me. Oh. Jerk. No reload. And I either pick like, you know, a random computer I stream from. I've streamed from like an Amiga, or I might pick a console. I played the TurboGrafx-16 not too long ago. And I do Mr. streams and also on random stuff. So, well, thanks so much, Rico. I really appreciate it. It's very, very nice. That guy's shooting me still. I'm just trying to talk here. Hey, I'm talking here. But just a variety of stuff. So I never really know what I'm going to play, if you will. I might play, you know... Oh, they're all coming through here. Who's your daddy? Yeah, Sin. And you're seeing a small corner up there now. But yeah, we're playing on the original hardware here, but I'll do a rotation of like old computers, old games, whatever it might be. You never really know what I'm going to play, and I often don't know until I do it myself the night before. I think he took care of all the bad guys in this one corner here now. So yeah, come hang out, chat about old games, old stuff, old hardware, whatever. Tonight it was the, if you didn't catch it, what I was playing on was this here, which is the P3 that is now 1 gigahertz, with the Voodoo 5 in here as well. So it's a great late 90s, early 2000 gaming system. So, but I think I'm gonna call it there. This machine now is in a very good spot, but I don't know. I might reload it. I haven't decided yet, because the issues and also the fact that I've done so many things to it that it would be nice maybe to clean it off completely and just kind of start from scratch, because I have put so many different cards in it and drivers and random things. This is the layout I'm expecting to run with, like the hard drive that's in there, you know, the equipment and the hardware, whatever. So yeah, Trespasser is really neat and really cool, I think, but it is also very funny, unintentionally so. I mean, the physics is hilarious, and that's what makes it fun, with the floppy picking up stuff and like holding the gun and flopping around, and of course the notorious health bar on the lady's chest. So, but thanks so much. It's been a really fun stream. A lot of people hanging out tonight. It's great. Everyone is here to see the gigahertz. We now have entered the gigahertz realm, and this machine's going to stay that way. So appreciate everyone hanging out. Thanks again for that kind donation. And I will hopefully see everyone next week. So, all right. Thanks, Glue. And everyone have a good weekend, and see everyone next week. Good night. Everyone go live the gigahertz life. Good night, everyone.